Yo, let's get this shit started early. Why not? Why not? Hold on. I'm having a bad hair day, so I don't know if there's like a lot of humidity or what. My hair is just very flat today. Like exceptionally flat. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. Thoughts on Hark snarking you? Um, he can. You know what? He could join Mene. He could join Mene. Um. Anyways, you look like a rapper. Yeah, dude. I am. I actually am a rapper. You guys don't know it yet. I'm the next big shit. I'm the next big thing. I'm the next big thing. I'm the shit, and I'm the next big thing. I'm the next big shit, dude. Um, so just in, literally just in, approximately 7 minutes ago, authorities, I don't know if it was with the LAPD or Riverside County, have arrested the singer David in the murder of the 15-year-old girl that was found in his trunk. I mean, honestly, personally, I must say, it's the ones you least expect. I mean, who would ever think that the guy who had the body in his trunk is the one that did it? Yeah, finally. The people are like saying, like, people were saying, it's like they still haven't arrested this guy? They still haven't arrested this guy? People need to understand how a criminal investigation works. Once again, I sound like a fucking bootlicker here, running defense for the police. But they don't just like arrest you the second it's like obvious to the public you murdered somebody. They need to know that they can build a case against you and be able to hold you, because if they arrest you, they have to bring charges against you within like 48 hours or something. I forget, right? Because you have a right to a speedy trial, and you can't be falsely detained if you're not being charged with anything. And then when they do try you, if you go up on those charges and are found not guilty, um, and it just takes one juror, right, to flip that, they can't bring you back to court. So you get one shot really to get it right, unless sometimes they'll do sneaky shit where they'll try to retry you in another jurisdiction or whatever. But ultimately, um, they need to know they have a fucking case for they're taking you into court. I part of me was like, what, he had time. There was time to like dispose of this. Like, he left it just like in the trunk with creepy music playing or something. It's like he wanted to get caught. Hold on. One sec. So do you guys remember yesterday? It was yesterday. We saw there was some flight drama where essentially two pilots were caught meowing at each other by ATC, and they got told off for it. Now, apparently this has gotten serious, and the FAA is stepping in to investigate. Hold on, fuck, I didn't mean to. Um, this has gotten serious. Yo, thank you so much for the 5, Tempest, with our first tip of the wait, you're that Tempest. When the privilege of being rich and an influencer what the privilege of being rich and an influencer will do to the thinking of the judicial system. Okay, hold on. Where is... Here we go. Fuck. Here it is. Whoa. Where did I go now? The fuck? What happened to me? Dude, professional streamer, by the way? Professional streamer? Hold on, there we go. What if the pilots were 21? What would that... Oh. Ha! Ha! I see what you did there, fine sir. I see what you did there. That was clever. That was good. What is this? Some kind of 21 pilots?
It was funny the first 5 minutes. You guys need to be...
Sir, oh, I didn't read the name. Sometimes I just... Hold on, somebody's fucking knocking on my door. One sec. Dude, it's bad. It's really bad. So apparently, I have been implicated in an Interpol investigation into an Indonesian crime ring. And I am now under investigation for my associations with an individual going under the criminal alias, The Trough.
This is why you're still flying RJ. It was funny the first 5 minutes.
One sec. Sorry. Okay. Yo, thank you so much for the 2. Much appreciated. One sec. Maybe you should have taken longer to set up stream. Anyways, so, where was I? Fuck, dude. Sorry. Just dealing with something. Okay. Alright, so we're back into this. Basically, who is calling me now? Dude, fuck off. We have an update yesterday to the clavicular situation. Apparently, after his overdose, his dad went and who is calling me, dude? His dad went and did like an intervention because he overdosed. He opened up this like new club and shit, and it was like people were like making like sad posts like his dad like didn't show up or whatever. But his dad didn't show up to the new grand opening because like his lifestyle is what's causing him to overdose. The club's just gonna fucking contribute to that. Hold on. Answer the phone on stream. Yeah, let me just call my mom on stream. Sigh? What's the sigh? What's the sigh? Aiden is running again. Okay. No, it's literally, hold on. If I have to go into members only, by the way, or not members only, I have to go into subs only. I actually have to make an effort to deal with this right now. This is not, it's not, I'm not saying this like an ultimatum. Just a promise. Just a promise. You will just be banned. I will never talk to you again. Unironically, I'll just never fucking speak to you again. If I have to go into, if I have to actually make an effort to stop because you're so fucking annoying, I will never talk to you again. If only, if only, if only you put as much effort that you put into my chat into getting my attention. If only you put as much effort into graduating high school, buddy. Then you might have something to show for all your efforts. Maybe it would have paid off. Hold on. Too far. Now the cry bowl. Dude, now the crying starts. Now the crying starts. If you annoy me, I will leverage every personal secret I know about you against you. And I can't help myself. It's not like I'm threatening you. I literally cannot help myself. So I honestly, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I can't contain myself. Anyways, where were we? Yes. ACC lolcow back at it again. True. We're back in action. We're back in action. Hold on. Crashouts? I'm too tired to crash out. Okay. So, we've got how much longer? It's already halfway finished. Okay. So, Clavicular's dad went and did an intervention with his son. And apparently, according to TMZ, it was unsuccessful. Clav didn't give in. Let's take a look. TMZ knows every detail about everyone's personal, like, you know how fucked it is? When Aiden Ross's sister died, I have no love for Aiden Ross. I think he's a fucking moron. A horrible influence on kids. Don't get me wrong. Simultaneously, though, when the dude's sister died, that's a very, like, private moment. And that's not something, that's something that you need to be like tactical about and how you're disclosing to your audience, because the truth of the matter is A lot of people don't want to be treated differently when somebody they love dies. And they like, you know, they don't want like the people like, they don't want people to be weird to them or whatever. They just want things to keep going as normal. So he chose not to disclose that info. Somehow TMZ and Harvey Levin and this like parasitic news organization, they go and they get a hold of it. They go and get a hold of it and they publish it without like they're in journalism. And I learned this in my intro to media studies class. Like, they're like, what is it? I forget somebody who knows this better than somebody who's like an actual fucking journalism major would know this better than I do. But you have like this box of ethical consideration. When you're to report on a story, you have to consider your principles, your ethics, I'm pretty sure the relevancy or utility of the story, and then its potential harms to everyone else reporting. And it's like, what could I possibly do? Or the public, what use does it serve to prematurely report that this person's family member has died? Yo, thank you so much for the 10 Kalora Vetla Nicotine Fund Super Base. Are Tempest and Raven beef? I actually was curious about that because I heard that Tempest had this Tempest individual who's like some part of my French, some e-whore, but like apparently this is what I'm hearing. This is what I've been told. Apparently, Raven has a furry fetish, and him and Tempest, you two had a falling out, and you went and you outed his furry fetish or something? That's what I'm hearing. What are the specifics exactly of what you outed? I'm just curious. I honestly, I want to know. I don't know. We're gonna be doing a deep dive into this investigation. Anyways. So, hold on. So let's read the details here from TMZ, okay? Clavicular's post-overdose saga has taken another turn. TMZ has learned the streamer's own father who is giving this to TMZ? Dude, if I was as famous as Clavicular, how are you? The paranoia. I'm a nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about what I'm doing, and I'm paranoid as it is, right? I cannot begin to imagine the like paranoia about who in your inner circle is going and like tipping off the fucking media about every single like private moment and like situation you're involved in. I would literally be like, I mean, there's going to be like insane paranoia associated with that. But sources familiar with the situation tells Clavicular, real name Braden Peters, had his dad Ken rushing from New Jersey after this week's scary hospitalization for a suspected overdose in Miami. The plan was for a serious face-to-face talk to push the looks maxer toward getting help. I made fun of the fact that he had anatomically correct animal genitalia, furry NSFW, on his Twitter. Is that true? Is this true? I'd love to have you two litigate this. I'll happily. I heard Raven wanted to call in. Every dog has his day, buddy. Every dog has his day. So you know what, Raven? Call in. Let's do it, man. Tempest and Raven, call in. We're gonna go through this and the specifics. Despite Cloud telling his viewers on a live stream, I wanted my dad to come home because he was here, but he didn't come. Our sources say that's not the full story. His dad was never supposed to hit the club. He was there strictly out of concern after the OD scare. Instead, we're told the situation got so frustrating that Cloud's father left Miami without ever getting the chance to say what he came to say, flying back to New Jersey, deeply worried about his son's health. Are they from Jersey? Okay, hold on. Let's keep going here. Now, behind the scenes, it's clear this isn't just a viral moment. It is a family crisis unfolding in real time with a worried dad left on the outside looking at. I'm sure TMZ cares.
Yeah, let me go.
Dude, this little dun dun dun. It's like right before the most like personal, like fucking details of your entire family life get exposed to the world.
Sit somewhere.
Yeah, we already saw this yesterday. Ooh, Alex versus Alex. Who's your baddie? Thanks, TMZ. You gotta get on TMZ. I hate TMZ. I see their little tour buses, and I feel like a fucking animal when I see those tour buses. They're just like looking at you as you're walking on the sidewalk, going to get something, and it's like, fuck you, you fucking tourist. I remember I was walking well, I'm not giving the specifics. And there were like a bunch of like Italians, like Italians that like stopped in the road to just take pictures on a random road. And it was like, dude, I'm fucking walking here. Let me through. That would never happen in New York. Never. Never. If anyone stopped like that, like how those people stopped in New York, they would never fly. Would never fly. Green, what the fuck are you doing? Green! Okay. Anyways, $25, please. Tempest, what the fuck is going on? Green trying to harpoon the whale? I'm sorry, Tempest. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, Tempest. Why y'all begging for scraps in the true, Taya. These people are desperate. They're like little vultures picking on a carcass. We got this content suggestion from Green. It's not often we get a content suggestion from Green, so this better be good. I'm the only person to get rejected 3 times and never ask anyone out, by the way. By the way. Good one guy, though. Good one guy. That my cortisol, what you just wrote, sir, did cause a temporary cortisol spike. Any day now, Brave. Any day now. Dude, I love Brave. This is what I do all night. I just sit here like this. Waiting for it to fucking load. Plenty of fish in the sea, I'm aware. With the quantity of women that have admitted attraction to myself, I'm aware. Unfortunately, I don't live that life anymore. What? Can it load? Load! 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 What the fuck is going on? Green, did you send me like a fake link that's just intended to rage bait me?
I will never, ever,
there we go.
ever put my hands on a
to, because like, for you to say that I get no girls, bro, I be with the baddies. Nature around women. It all started with this
Started with this video titled Black YouTube Has Gotten Even Worse, where I had a little section towards the end of the video calling out how it's weird that he sexualizes his own mother and little sister for views. He then reacted to the video and said things like I was ugly, I was broke, I get no women, all the stuff you do when you get caught doing.
Dude, 7K was showing me like, okay, I don't know if black YouTube is a thing, but there seems to be like a genre, there seems to be like a bunch of YouTubers that make where their audience is just like majority dominated by black people. Some of the shit though was in the Fleece Johnson stuff was such an insane concept to me because essentially, in essence, these videos were just fucking 20 couples versus one rapist. That's dude, you have Mr. Beast, you have Mr. Beast, and then you have, over there, you have 20 couples with one rapist.
Something weird.
Shay Frost, you need to be neutered, bro. This man reminds me of one of those dogs.
And you need to bust a nut, because I know you can't get no...
No, do not, Tempest, do not send the screenshots to random chatters that are soliciting you in my chat. If you send them in my inbox, in my server.
Get some bitches. Get some bitches. Get something, bro. Like, why you on my
Which I took a lot of offense to, because like, for you to say that I get no girls, bro, I be with the baddies. Like, look at this, wait, who put that picture right there? Jokes aside, I then drop a whole video dedicated to the man.
It comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of insecurity. They desperately want you to not be able to pull so they could feel better about their own failed endeavors. And, you know, you just have to call it for what it is.
January 1st,
These people, you can't be angry at them. You have to feel sorry for them.
2025. Just looking at his content, because if he can make a few judgments of a small section at the end of one of my videos, then why can't I make a judgment looking at his whole channel? Because his whole channel is honestly just a gold mine of incest. And this video was titled Deshae Frost Has a Huge Problem, and this video did pretty crazy, mainly because a lot of people agreed with what I had to say and the things I pointed out.
Okay, I feel like we have to watch a part 1 to understand part 2. Totally not. Should we watch part 1? Is this even worth covering? Where's his first video? Where's his you don't know who the fuck this guy is? Then why did you link it? Dude. What is your problem? What the fuck is your problem? Green 1. What is this Queeman guy showing on live? Okay, thank you, Ali Khan. Thanks for the suggestion, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Great stuff, guys. Truly. It's like, it takes a community effort. What? Dude, Tempest is sending Raven money to help him with food? Raven, if you needed, is that why Raven's been spamming my chat? Is that why Raven's been spamming my chat? Do you want a hot meal, buddy? Do you want a hot meal? So according to all of this, because the guy spammed my chat, I think I'm over. This is a little overkill, but Tempest has revealed and put into inbox. This is why Green said the hungry joke. Dude. I wasn't picking up on Green's, the money I sent Raven to help him with food. This is bleak, man. This is bleak. Dropped out of high school as a super senior, living off of money from fat Discord e-whales. You're raped! You're raped! I win! I win! No, but don't worry. But don't worry. But don't worry. I might leave you like a hamburger or something on the way out. Anyways. Let's be mature. Let's all be adults here. We're all adults. She said 60. That's 25. Okay. Tubby lied. Why do I care? Okay. Anyways. So we have another. I have to be very careful with this situation because it involves the dissemination of what could be docs info, but I'm not sure. And it's best to, for whatever reason, somebody thought I was the expert on this subject and messaged me, hey Aiden, I have a question. Like, if I'm like, would this be considered docs info or whatever? And it's like, why are you coming to me about that? I'm like, if you have to ask the question, treat it like it's a docs. But let us, hold on. We have to be very careful here. Where? Oh, wait, real quick. Sykkuno responded. I forgot that Sykkuno responded. Ladies and gentlemen, our favorite, normal hairline, non-predatory cheater says, I would like to apologize to everyone I've disappointed. Most of all, to my girlfriend. They didn't... Dude, they didn't break up. That's love. That's love. Love is when you can have a public cheating drama where you go around sleeping with 30 fucking women and your girl's still with you. I mean, is that love or is that ignorance? I think that's more ignorance. She should probably leave him at this point. Can you cover extra? Yeah, I'm going to cover that. She should probably, like, I mean, it's like, yeah, I love to believe in people's capacity for change or whatever, but this has been like a deliberate, repeated pattern of behavior that is only being addressed because he got caught, and it probably would have continued for God knows how long had he not been. It probably would have continued forever had he been able to get away with it. And it's like, and he's saying, and all of this, by the way, to add insult to injury, was because he was supposedly so unhappy in the relationship. So you have a partner that when he has issues is not instead of talking them out with you, is going to go and like escape behind your back with other people, violating your trust in the process. I don't know why that would be the kind of man you'd want to stay with. But, I mean, to each their own. It's not like I have to fucking date the guy. I'm unfaithful, and I own and fully admit to that. I lied to people and told them I was single, which I know is not right. I'm sorry to all the people that I hurt by doing this. The following is not an attempt to minimize what I've done. However, I've seen false accusations about me that are not true. There have been false accusations about him that are not true. Yes. Somebody literally tried to make him look like a PETA, that by saying when I was 17 to 18, he was DMing me, like they use vague wording only to then specify, well, actually, he never sent a flirtatious DM to them until they were 18. And there was no demonstrated grooming behavior prior. Would you date me, Aiden? I don't know who you are. So probably, I don't really date either, so probably not. Okay, here we go. My girlfriend and I didn't respond quickly because we were already working on a relationship and communication before this all happened. Having so much private information exposed to the public has made it incredibly difficult for us to heal together. Okay. Did the girl, when he says they were working on their communication beforehand, when you were supposedly willing to work on this in the past, did you tell your girlfriend you had cheated? No. So it makes it look like even in your previous attempts to work on yourself, It was completely feigned because there was this elephant in the room. Well, it wasn't really an elephant in the room because she couldn't see it, but you were just totally omitting that in the course of trying to save this relationship when obviously that sort of honesty would be integral to doing so. I will be taking a break from streaming and the internet to better myself and give us time. We need to try and improve our relationship. Thank you for reading this, and I will continue to learn and grow from this experience. My girlfriend wanted to share her experience below. Below's a message written by her. Hi there. I want to start by saying thank you to those who have been checking on me and wishing me well during such a difficult time. It has been extremely heartbreaking to learn everything I know now, and going through this has been one of the hardest things I've ever been put through in my life. I've been tossed around from all sides. Me and my reality have been continuously shattered. Though no matter how broken I am, I never wanted this to be public. It deeply hurts me that I wasn't given a chance in that, or even just warned that this would be happening at all. I didn't want this. Even after the fact, I wish they would have at least checked in on me or asked me how I felt about everything, but I haven't heard from the people involved since. True! And keep in mind, the original document writer on the Sykkuno allegations, she wanted Sykkuno to leave the girl he was with and keep talking to her anyway. She feigns like she's so outraged. It's like you hurt her by lying and cheating on her. And then Sykkuno's like, you're right, we should stop talking. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, why would we stop talking? The person that he was cheating with. And it's like, well, because the relationship between the two of you is the bad part, right? So this person only released the document, in my opinion, because he was willing to try to save the relationship instead of leaving and then going off with who he was having the affair with. And that's why she released this entire document and apparently didn't even consult the actual victim in this story, Sykkuno's girlfriend, prior, which is, like, shitty as fuck and totally self-centered. I'm getting reports that Thy Tempest was trying to fatten up local, it's black person, not black, local black person, Raven, to devour him in one bite. Oh my god. Dude, this guy escaped the jaws of death. Hold on, we'll get through this and then we'll check all of that out. Okay, wait. Having my worst fears become my reality, then put on full display and used for profit for everyone to see is absolutely mortifying. It truly feels like a nightmare. It was already hard enough trying to work through things in private. This has just added another layer of difficulty and stress on top of everything. It has made it so much harder for me to cope. Prior to all this becoming public, we were already making changes to improve our relationship, and while I could have chosen to leave, I ultimately made the decision to stay with the hopes of repairing our relationship together. Even though all the things I've learned are incredibly disappointing and shocking, I don't think they are irredeemable. I agree with her. It's been hard handling things unfolding this way, but I believe this will be a step in the right direction. With time, I hope everyone can focus on healing and being a better version of themselves. Mature response, honestly. Now, do I think the girlfriend is doing way more than she has to by staying with this guy? Absolutely. If I were her, I would have left. Let's make one thing straight. But do I find it admirable that she was willing to stay with him despite this, like, total betrayal of her and her trust? Yes. Yeah, what a yap. But I found it admirable that he was willing to stay with her, despite, that she was willing to stay with him despite everything that has occurred. And I think that what he did, let's not downplay it, is super fucking shitty. But I don't think it's on the level where he should be labeled a predator or be considered pedo adjacent or anything. He's a cheater. He is a cheater and he's a liar that lied to cover up his cheating, and these things are bad and indicative of poor character, but simultaneously they're absolutely not irredeemable. And the main victim in this story, the partner whose trust he violated in the course of perpetrating these actions, has chosen to forgive him. So I don't really know who's gonna be, I mean, litigating this going forward, unless there's something we missed. He's apparently stepping away, which is the right call. I don't think this is irredeemable. He could probably come back. And I hope he never cheats on her again. He's gotten a second chance. And, you know, a woman like that is probably a keeper. A woman like that is a keeper. So, you know, beg for her fucking forgiveness, make things work, and then he could probably come back at some point. She probably relies on his money, so she doesn't want. Well, that's not necessarily true. Okay, I got sent. What is okay? So everyone's raving about these Tempest yams. I got over trying to embarrass Raven because he stopped spamming. But I guess we have to read it, right? I can't sweep. Hey, do you have money for food tomorrow? No, why? Would you like if I lent you $20? Okay, to be fair, he wasn't asking. Would you like if I lent you $20 for tomorrow? I can only give it to you tomorrow, though. I don't have the $20 now. Why? What do you mean, why? Why? Elaborate? This is the most autistic conversation ever did. I've never... Have these just been opened? Okay. I don't know how to respond. It's fine. A simple yes or no will suffice. Don't worry. If you're asking why I'm giving you $20, it's because you don't have food and I don't like seeing anyone go home. Okay. All right. You know, I feel like this just isn't the seriousness of this dynamic isn't being appreciated enough here. So okay, I only have Cash App, so like that's totally fine. I'll send it to you tomorrow. Don't worry. Okay. All right. Then it progresses. It's not even that crazy so far. Wait, what the fuck? Okay. Alrighty, good. Hoping you'd accept it. I'm just a random person, dude. And that means you don't deserve to be shown compassion. Dude, this is good. This is good. This is good. That means you don't deserve to be shown compassion. It means you should go hungry. No, it's okay, dude. That's so nice. Of course. I'm just a random person to you, though. I'm just a random person you threw. You used to, like, hate me. Turn this shit off and just play the... Dude, that sound effect is only enjoyed by unks. I don't get it. What... What is so funny about this? That's funny to you. That makes you laugh. This. Did that elicit a chuckle or two? Perchance. Okay. That's so nice. Of course, I'm just a random person to you. I'm just a random person to you, though. You used to, like, hate me. Oh, this is I feel like this is, like, kind of shitty, too. To be fair, listen, I fan the Flames. I didn't know, I just knew there was something there. I don't know what the details here were. But, like, if you offered to then later use it against them, or, I don't know. This is, like, you initiated this. You're the one that initiated this. You're the one that offered. I don't want anything from you. I just don't like seeing people go hungry. That's really sweet. Yeah, of course. Just tell me when you're ready to get the money. All right. Hey, Tempest, hey, my Cash App bugging. Can I just get it sent to a friend's account? This is why I don't like taking gifts or handouts from people. I fucking hate it because they will use it. They will hold it over your head. It's like every time you take something from someone, you're like attaching another string to your body. Okay. And then it continues. Sure, what's your friend's account? They're sent, dude. Thank you. What? Of course. This means like so much to me. Am I pregnant? No. It's okay, Lamau. I don't want to. Wait, we already read this. Did we? Dude, go to the store later to also like. Do you like the old drawing more or the newer one? I like the new one. It looks more cute. I'll keep working on it, but thank you so much. Of course, of course. All right, then we move on. Don't fucking lie. We know you like iced coffee, you F-slur. Lies, you can't hide it. Why are we why is this being sent? Okay, then it continues. To the... What is the point? Is there like... Do I have to read between the lines here? Okay. People have called me. They'll tell you. People will vouch for me. I'm a bridge mender. They call me Aiden the Mender of Bridges. Chat knows this, and chat would love for the two of you, Raven and Tempest, to mend the bridge with the Aidster and call in as we host a discussion between the two of you and mend the bridge. Okay? I honestly think Dr. Aiden needs to come out, okay? I think that the two of you can look to find a mutual plan of moving forward where all parties are satisfied. So join call-ins, the call-in voice chat in my server. I'll drag both of you in, and then we will have a fruitful conversation and mend the bridge. Mend the I'm cool with Gamma. Dude, I'm so stupid. I dragged the I tried to drag you in. I dragged the channel down. Raven, what's up, man?
Discord EBT is awesome. Okay.
So what's
How you hating, Data?
So walk us through Tempest. How did you meet Tempest? We want your side.
It was like in Kato's server. I called them the hard R or something. Then they said they got offended by it, and then like, I got banned from the server.
Got it. Now, and you are of African American descent, right? You are allowed, so to speak, to say that word.
I'm a Q. I'm a Q.
Okay, I wouldn't call yourself that.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
I'm just
join
call-ins.
You join
call-ins.
Yeah, call-ins. It's the chat that's the channel that says call-in. So this starts with Tempest is offended that you use the N-word. Yourself being a black male. So
yeah.
I don't know where the offense is coming from.
Because I was claiming I was doing the thing where I was claiming I was white.
Oh. Okay, got it. So Tempest thought that you were a white dude calling her the N-word.
Of course.
So then how does the bridge get mended between the two of you?
I don't know.
You don't see it, Tempest? Join any voice channel and I'll drag you in. Doesn't matter which one you join. Just click any voice channel.
It was like something in Kato's server. We interacted and we became friends.
You interacted and you became
Like
friends.
I got unbanned from Kato's server, and then I saw Tempest, and I started trolling them or something.
So where do
So I
things
could become
go?
friends
Where
with
do
you.
things go sour between the two of you?
Probably when I was like glazing Goat Kato.
Does Tempest not like Goat
I
Kato?
was like being a Kato defender. No, it was one at a time when like Kato was like clearly in the wrong, and then like I just kept blindly defending.
Got it. Got it. Now, you don't like Tempest, Raven, right?
No.
Why?
Just because I just don't.
Tempest, you don't like Raven, right? Hello?
Hello? This nigga. My bad, my bad. I'll timestamp it.
You'll so Raven, I'm about to do you know you can't give a single
Is it
reason.
working now?
Yes, there we go. Perfect. Perfect.
Oh my god.
So
To
the
answer your question, no, I don't hate him. I don't hate.
well, you don't
anyone
date, but the
else
two,
except
there's
him.
obviously some animosity between the two of you, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. So I want to know why.
I mean, yeah, there is because he was
the Kato
That's
fallout.
Wait,
That's it.
yeah,
Wait, because he was
that's
what,
really it.
Tempest?
Because he was defending Goat. That's really the only reason why I had a quarrel with him at all. But
This
it's because
is
he's saying,
boring, Aiden.
Well,
You're covering coal.
it's because you are completely useless and can't tell a fucking story. That would probably be why it's boring. I assumed too much of you, clearly. So what? Okay. So as we progress, so it's over the goat stuff. How does this end with you leaking like something about
He's black.
canonically accurate furry genitalia or something? And anatomically
So,
accurate.
so I did that before the whole Goat shit. I believe, was it August? Somewhere around that time, because we were in Hippleton's server and we were in a voice call, and I don't remember how it.
That
you know-
VC was awesome. Kalu was there. Bring Kalu in
Well,
here. Bring
If it was
Kalu in.
awesome, if it was awesome, why the fuck are you complaining about it so much that I quote unquote
We're
like
calling
exposed you
you
to being
to leak.
Raven, so if someone, okay, you are completely unwilling to elaborate on why you dislike this person or create any form of content. If they're actively elaborating, you then try to talk over them.
Shut up, Aiden! Shut up, Aiden! Shut up, Aiden!
They're
You
in the,
useless Jew!
okay, sorry.
I literally told you
continue,
I
Tempest.
don't like him because of the Kato thing.
Yeah, what about
That's
what
why.
specifically?
I said,
Do you speak English?
oh my god, because we kept arguing over and
Hablas
over and
español.
over, which made me not like them. Because we kept arguing over Kato. We kept arguing about what she did,
¿Por qué?
what was going on back then.
But didn't you just say that you believed Goat like blindly? Why are you hating me still if you realize that she was in the wrong and I had every right to like not like her? What's the
Because I still think you're a backstabbing whore.
for not wanting to be around Goat
we
because
got it.
of something you agreed that she did
You're
wrong?
leaky.
Or
You're leaky.
You're
Leaky.
Where are you trying to cover up information right now, Raven?
No.
Okay,
I'm
so
just confused.
what's leaking right now that you don't want getting out there?
Nothing's leaking right now. It's when the whole Kato thing dropped and she just like ran to Lio and like told him everything and like leaked everything.
Wait, so why did you
Leaked
side
it.
against Tempest on that? If Kata was in the wrong?
Because back then I was blindly following.
Okay.
Then why the fuck do you still hate me over it? If you realize that Goat was wrong, why are you still like?
Because I'm still able to just not like you if I have only bad memories with you.
Only bad memories. Okay. All right, sure.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
I have my
yeah,
DMs. So
yeah.
I have my fucking DMs with you still. We've talked quite a few times, and we weren't really arguing throughout any of them. Maybe like a few times, but
Because I'm
So,
able
only bad
to
memories.
talk. I'm able to talk to people who I don't like.
okay.
I don't hate you, but I don't like you.
I feel like there's something you're scared to say, Raven. There is a core to this issue that is being unspoken, I guess. And my question is,
This is
what is
horrible,
that?
bro.
I don't know if it's because you're embarrassed or, I mean, do you think that Tempest wronged you with the furry ship?
No, that was actually pretty funny.
So you weren't
Then
mad
why did you
about
go
that?
to Hamilton about it?
Because I remember you
were
being
crying to
explicit. That's how.
Hamilton
That's the
about
only
it
reason
in
I know.
the-
That's the only
Okay,
reason I know that
sorry.
anything happened because you were
Sorry.
angry
Hold on,
about
hold on,
that.
hold on. I can explain this. I
Aiden.
can explain this really well. I can explain this really well.
Mhm.
So back then, right? She was talking about like Take 9 or like and Spinling like sexually harassing
Green,
her,
get in here.
and then like these and then like they brought up like the whole thing where she like leaked my Twitter. And then like we decided that could be something against her. And like I didn't like it after the fact, but in the moment it was definitely pretty funny. So like green.
Okay. It's lovely.
I
Okay.
think green can do everything better.
Fair enough. I mean,
You
not.
could fight. You could. I mean,
I mean, you don't really have a stage presence, kid. So it's a little. It's not like we got a lot to work with here. But we're getting. I feel like there is content under the boringness somewhere here. Somewhere here.
Aiden,
There's no
if I can-
content.
Yes, Tempest,
here.
please feel free to talk freely.
I'm just gonna say that in Cat's Lair, Raven dragged Hamilton into a like an argument. Okay, I don't know how to fucking explain. I'm so sorry. I'm nervous. You're live streaming.
Okay,
Listen,
don't worry.
nobody be
Time.
nervous. Nobody be nervous. It's a chill environment.
Don't let Raven throw you off balance here. Take all the time you need.
Yeah.
All right, tell your story.
Okay. All right. So in Cat's Lair, Raven and I were having a little spat. You know,
Yeah.
day
Mhm.
shit. And he dragged Hamilton into it to fight his own battles. That's what I'm trying to say.
We're lying now? We're
Wait.
lying? Hold on.
Wait.
We're
Are
lying.
you still? Okay.
I have no. Okay, you're accusing her of lying. I have not seen any proof that she's lying. Get any proof to say that she's lying?
What's the
here,
lie?
Raven?
I'm not in Cat Slayer.
It wasn't
I
Cat
dragged
Slayer.
Templeton to fight my own battles. I put Templeton in because they were saying that he allowed SA to happen and stuff
Not
like
SA.
that. You can ask. You can ask him yourself.
Okay. You brought up Hamilton, I believe. And I said publicly, yes, I will admit that I said Hamilton did just sit and watch Take 9, quote unquote, sexually harass me. That's what I said. Which Hamilton and I already had this, conversation. It's all over. It's already done. We agreed not to talk about it again. But here we are talking about it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that.
Yeah, and that's why he got brung into the whole thing in the first place.
Well, I think that.
Well, it wasn't the whole.
I need pardon me. Sorry. So the timeline. Where does this? Is this before or after feeding Raven's belly? Was this before or after?
It was after.
Okay, this was after. Okay. Yeah,
It was
'cause
during the
okay,
whole
that
ghost
makes sense.
debacle.
Oh,
Got it.
Hungry.
So, Raven, what? This is for research purposes. What food did you purchase with the $25?
I think
I
he
don't
said
know.
fruit. It was fruit. I think he told me he had some fruit.
Oh, he eats
fruit.
fruit. Yeah.
Are you like a
What, a
fruitarian?
watermelon? There's that photo.
What?
I'm not vegetarian. but
Shutting
I'm
this
mostly...
dialogue down.
No.
Oh.
I'm not saying that in a racist way. Raven has sent a photo in Icy Chat of an entire
Oh wait,
watermelon
no, you're
slice.
right. You're
And it
right.
was, like,
You're
ripped
right.
in
You're
half.
right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was with my own money, though, not the Tempest.
Okay, this
thing.
time,
With
okay.
Tempest, I just bought like a bunch of fruit, or like, but I think most of it was actually bananas. I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
So I
think
do
you
have a
said
question.
bananas, I'm not
There's
sure.
a question. I asked Tempest this in chat.
Mhm.
Is that Raven? Were you
Hold on.
complaining about not being able to eat to Tempest?
Yeah.
Okay, and why were you so hungry? And why were you
wait,
complaining
fuck.
to Tempest of all people?
Sorry,
Because me and
my-
Tempest were good friends back in here. Back then, and like
So you just
I
claimed
don't know, I
earlier that
can't
you
really
had nothing
afford
but bad
to.
experiences with me. Why are you're contradicting yourself? This is sad. Okay.
That's not a contradiction. I can still say that like
Or-
I was good friends with a person, and then like after that, I only had bad experiences with you.
That yeah,
You know how like
that's
insanely retarded
non-contradictory.
that is.
We're Mike Raven, are you still hungry?
Sadly, Aiden, can you feed me?
When you
Aiden,
word it like
feed.
that, no, I will not. I would
Can
have
you unhide me?
had you said it
Aiden,
in literally
unhide
any
me.
other way, I would consider.
Aiden, unhide me.
That's not
And
happening. You
so
completely.
Tempest. So
Huh?
Raven here, he's a bad egg. He does a
I'm
lot of terrible
sorry.
things.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
have any other stories of what other things that Raven might have gotten up to in this the Cato layer, the whatever bullshit? What other things has he done?
Yeah.
I mean, other than just making me uncomfortable, that's there's nothing more to that. That's all. I mean, there's not really a big deal. Just don't like how you're just slandering me, and then contradicting yourself within it. But
Slandering you.
But
What is the
wasn't
slander?
contradicting.
The slander
oh,
part.
that I but like I was a traitor to Goat Cattle, backstabber, all that shit. That's all. That's
Yes,
nothing
you
I'm just talking
were.
about.
I thought you
See, that's
said
interesting
wait,
to
I thought
me.
you said the goat was in the wrong in that situation.
She was in the wrong, but you can still be a traitor even if you're in the wrong.
Interesting.
But what,
If I were to be,
what
if I
part
were to
of
be a
the
Nazi, hold on. If I were to be a Nazi and then proceed to
another
shoot
analogy.
Hitler for the right reason, I would still be a traitor.
Yes, but people.
That's
Yes, but
beautiful.
typically, the only
beautiful
people that would
analogy.
really use that word to describe you would be like other Nazis, because it brings negative connotations. So if the
Yeah, well,
if the treason was positive for the party describing it, they're probably not going to use a word like traitor.
personally, I think it's a beautiful analogy. It's useless though. It's whatever. What about her going to Lio was traitorous if she was in the wrong? And refresh
Because
me
like
on
Oh
my
wait,
memory.
before we
My
continue,
memory's
I have to
fuzzy.
ask important. Does anyone in the call have hypertension? We need to know before we continue this conversation.
I'm a little hungry, but I don't think I have
Tempest?
hypertension.
You're good, right?
What?
No hypertension?
Yeah. Why?
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right,
Why?
continue, everybody. We don't need anyone having a stroke on us here.
Yeah.
Aiden!
So Tempest, in your own words, Go Kata, what was the controversy that she was in at the time? And with Raven saying that she was in the wrong, what was she guilty of?
It's a good
Her
question.
associating with a
Cupidite.
Cupidite. I mean, she's told me in DMs that she was only lenient with Cupidite sharing child sexual exploitation material with a server full of minors was because of her age. So that's what really tipped my scale.
She said that to you. That's not. That's not.
very strange. Very strange.
And what? Okay, so I backstabbed her for going to Lio with that information. Okay.
It would
Okay.
still be a bad.
Wait, she said that to you?
Yes, I have DMs for it.
And then you also like to this day like still talk about her and like keep
Well, that's
talking
not-
shit. So,
that's
like,
irrelevant.
and Kato still is my friend. So I guess that's another reason not to like you.
But it.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, look, you can have your friends, and if your friend does something bad,
Wait, so you don't
and-
like
and
people
someone
if your
calls their
friends don't
friend
like
out.
them?
It's not that my friends don't like him. It's that just Tempest talks constant shit, and I do too. So I do the same thing.
Okay.
But
Well-
if I were to like talk constant shit on you, right, you wouldn't like me, and that's why you don't like me right now.
That's not true at all. Most people I know could talk constant shit about me. It's just the spam that annoys me. It's literally just that you could call me a fucking stupid, retarded, groveling Jew that should kill himself and die, and I literally wouldn't care. It is
Wow.
just spam that bothers me. That's literally
Wow.
it.
So you hate me.
No, I just don't want you to spam.
It sounds like you
Tempest,
just hate me
these
for being
guys,
black.
am I right? They're just out of control.
Tempest, would you be willing to give my buddy Green a chance?
Okay, be
All right,
quiet.
all right, all
By
right.
any chance, those DMs, that was a revelation. Is that a revelation that everybody knew about? I didn't know about that.
DMs between Goat Cato and I, or between Raven and I.
Yeah, between you and the Goat Gatto, you guys were talking shop. Is that new, Aiden? Did you hear
Not
about that? I
really.
never
I
heard
mean,
about that.
I've sent the screenshots in Cat's Lair.
I might have
so-
heard there was so many things I was hearing about that situation. I could have heard it and legitimately don't remember. That is surprising to me, but I have moments where I will just completely forget something and then rediscover it. So, I mean, I think that in that whole situation, like, I mean, I've said this before, like, I think that Goat was being like, she was projecting herself
I mean,
onto
Raven,
this
you're
kid.
also defending. Oh, sorry.
Like his Goat had like bad experiences online or whatever when she was a kid. So, or like she was unfairly treated or whatever. So she views it as like she has to stop their unfair treatment or whatever. I don't know. But she was totally overly involved in that situation and being deceptive about many of the details surrounding it, telling conflicting things to myself and others at the time, which I honestly, the only W I will ever give to Beckett is for him catching those contradictions and bringing them up to me
Who's
once.
Beckett?
Who's
Well,
Beckett?
that seems kind of unfair, Raven.
Yeah, who's Beckett?
Beckett? He's some guy that lied about me and never said sorry.
Wow,
Just
Aiden.
fucking woke
What do you
up and was
lie
like, let me just
about?
fucking
That's
lie
you,
about
Aiden.
Aiden. Just wakes up. You know, I'm just gonna fucking lie about this guy. I guess.
Like Beckett.
Okay,
I
okay,
wish you
back
would
on
give you
topic.
another
Back on
chance.
topic.
So
Back on topic.
Raven,
Moment,
so
I'm.
Raven, after
Yes.
all of this, you're mad at Tempest for backstabbing Goat Cato, but you agree she was in the
I'm not
wrong.
necessarily mad at her. I
Would you
just
say
don't
that's the only
like her.
thing? It's like a lot of things, and this is just one of the big things that bothers you.
Probably.
Because that would make sense to me, I think.
Kevin, I want you to know that is brilliant logic. That is brilliant logic. And I think that you should apply that when assessing anyone and going forward. If they've got it right once, that means they're always getting it right, and you should listen to everything they say and every opinion they
The
have.
sky is blue, so I was right about that. And Aiden's a pedophile, so I must be right about this.
Yes. Yep.
Aiden.
What's
if,
up?
If I can I send the screenshots in your inbox of between Goat
Sure,
and
go
I,
ahead.
if that's alright.
I mean, I'm not touching that situation again,
Oh.
but it's interesting.
Huh?
I'm not really gonna touch
Aiden
that whole
talking
situation
about
again.
Cato again.
I'm literally explaining how
Oh,
I'm not
I
gonna touch
will-
that situation again.
You're talking
I will
about
take a
Cato
look
again.
at that. I'm going to take a look at that because I'd like to evaluate and see maybe if Raven has like so skibbity syndrome where he's like relentlessly batting for someone even if there's no reason to, or they might be in the wrong. It's just sheer loyalty, then flipping on the dime. That's a syndrome. And I'm
we
going to
get
take
Cato
a
in
big look
here?
at that.
Okay. All right. Well, does anyone have anything else?
No, thank you,
No.
Tempest. Thank you so much for calling in. That was very enlightening. I think I've learned a lot. And if you
Tempest Green
ever
wants to
feel
tap you
generous,
for sure, bro.
if you ever feel generous, I would like a few dollars. That's all.
You're
Have
no
a good
shame.
night.
Yeah, I think this was non-10, a waste of my time. I think everyone involved should kill themselves.
Then why did
and
you
lose some
cover it?
weight.
You
Okay. Anyways. Do I need to give the speech again? Sometimes you have to go in blind to get good content. When I was entertaining Duckbringer coming on that one time, I didn't know we'd get like Kino out of that. I didn't know. Most of the best content I've ever gotten has come from situations where I didn't know in advance the content was going to be that good. You have to take risks. You have to go through some coal to find the gems. And ultimately, we find more coal than gems these days. But we'll eventually get a gem. And when we do, it will be so fucking glorious. Now, with that being said, let me just look their inbox real quick again, just to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Did Himpleton send me the URL I asked him for? So apparently, Himpleton went and like paid on Fiverr a bunch of people in Uganda to celebrate my conversion to Christianity and kiss a photo of me and write my name on something. I don't have the video because Himpleton didn't send it to me, but it is very crazy. It is very crazy stuff. When I was younger, I used to want to get my name written in every country on earth. So like I'd have like if I'd have like an audience member from like some fucking middle of nowhere ass country, I'd have them write my name. My name was written in the alleyways of Cairo. Okay, so there is a situation right now on Twitter that is heating the fuck up like crazy. I thought this was docs info. It's not, so I think we can proceed and cover it fine. But hold on. It's not like it matters anyway, because this is a situation without, like, this situation blown up. But essentially, Action Man, for those of you that don't know, well, actually, the story really starts with Sneeko. We have to go back to Sneeko. I don't know if I looked at this the other day, but Sneeko, who, honestly, I haven't covered him a whole lot. Sneeko is a tragedy for me because I actually watched him at one point a long ass time ago, years and years and years ago, when he was just like some amateur filmmaker type YouTuber doing like these artistic videos in New York and shit. And I thought that he was a relatively talented guy that could have a bright future. Of course, I was entirely mistaken when the Andrew Tate Red Pill grift arc came about. But Sneeko is somebody that has made a lot of enemies. He's made a lot of enemies from his comments on Christianity, his comments on Jews, his comments on Islam, his comments on black people, his comments on... He's made enemies. No shit, right? And as he's walking through, I believe it was... I think it was New York. Can we not, guys? Can we just please not? Thanks. It's like annoying as fuck. I don't ask you for much. You literally could come into my chat and tell me that I'm the biggest piece of shit you've ever known and I suck and anything you want. All I ask is that you just don't spam. That's literally my only overriding word. Just don't spam. That's all I'm asking for here. That's all I'm asking for. I think I'm pretty lenient. I think I'm a pretty reasonable guy. I let it kind of continue for the beginning of this stream. Let's just chill the fuck out, please.
What are we talking about? You did. What the? Whoa. Hey, bro.
So he's walking. Let's get rewind on that.
You did.
Did the punch hit his phone? Okay, it looks like the guy goes to punch him in the face. Like, gets it. It's not a straight-on punch in the face, so he wasn't, like, knocked out. The guy goes to punch him, but then puts him into a chokehold instead. Pulls him to the ground.
What the? Whoa. Hey, bro.
So, okay.
And put your life.
So you have that. Now, this is not the main story. I don't know if this guy got arrested. I don't know if this was a random attack or targeted. I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. But this happens. Now you have this other streamer called Action Man, who is... I don't even know what he initially got big for, but every time you hear about him, like last time I heard about him, he had like overdosed on some synthetic drug that you could get from Kratom. He's like a former heroin addict. But Action Man is having a quite frankly, a spiral of JN. Okay? Am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that? It's just, it is what it's just super, a lot of JN energy coming from the guy recently. But he decided to, I guess, initially celebrate this attack on Sneeko. Okay, where is it, dude? I think it's up here. Also, by the way, this guy lives like a total fucking degen, man. Look at this shit, bro. Look at this shit. What the fuck do you need? I never let shit pile up on my desk like this, right? But what the fuck do you need 3 bongs for? What could somebody possibly need 3 bongs for? So he's got like 3 bongs laid out on the desk. He's got a bottle of Grey Goose. He's got like Action Man is legitimately of the belief that it is not a relapse so long as the drug that he uses is not heroin. I'm not talking about the weed here. I'm talking about the alcohol more so. He takes a lot of, he just seems to do a lot of, in excess, every single substance that is not heroin, and maintains this belief that, like, so long as it's not heroin, it's all good. 1 for meth, 1 for... yeah, people do smoke meth out of bongs. But a lot of these people, their business model is to get in the headlines through controversy. And it seems like Action Man is well aware of that, because you see him, like, goading people on, like, Kai Cenat. You see him goading people on, like, you see him goading people on, like, wait, hold on. Alright, wait, hold on. Let's, best clip. Okay, so this is Action Man's response to the Sneeko. I said Nico. To the Sneeko clip of Nico getting of Sneeko getting sucker punched. Nico was not sucker punched. He should be though, and I want to be the one to do it. But Sneeko, on the other hand, was sucker punched, and this is Action Man's response.
Wait, I just woke up to this fucking Sneeko video.
It's the fakest laugh ever, dude. It's like the fake.
Wait.
It's so fake. Is that a pill bottle container behind him? Totally real, legitimate laugh. So, okay. Whoa. Also, Johnny Somali apparently got prison time, which is funny. Where is it? So he posts this and understandably gets a lot of shit for it, which is what he intended, by the way. And people reply. He's saying, that's what you get for being a Nazi, straight up. Jake Shields, who I'm not somebody that... Never underestimate your enemy. And I'm not going to sit here and say that all anti-Semitic people are groveling retards, right? That's not what I'm not going to... Some of them are not. Okay, I don't mean that in a compliment way. I mean that in a, like, these people have some functioning intelligence and also hold, like, bigoted beliefs. To assume that all bigots are inherently moronic is to greatly underestimate your opponent. But I've noticed this mainstreaming of the most low IQ anti-Semitism I've ever seen. and it comes mostly from 3 people. Okay, it's mostly like Jake Shields, Lucas Gage, and then there was this other person that's like also a fucking idiot. You have like people like Fuentes or whatever, and obviously I don't like Fuentes, but Fuentes is intelligent to some extent. But you have these other people that are kind of like riding his coattails that they're popping off along with what's his name, Jackson Hinkle after October 7th and everything. And these people like Jake Shields, I legit think Jake Shields has CTE. He's made like some fucking really dumb tweets. It's like crazy, but he's like a full blown he's like a neo-Nazi basically. And Action Man thinks that he's gonna achieve anything by publicly like goading them on. All you're gonna do when you do shit like this. I learned this a long time ago because I used to debate most of my debates were against people who held like racist viewpoints. You're not like, many times you're just like gonna be, by choosing as a member of that group to go as low as they are and get into the mud with them, you are actually subconsciously reinforcing negative beliefs that they have, and many times doing a disservice, in my opinion. But basically, Jake Shields responds, and Action Man, who is now probably getting his shit blown up. Poor Nazi upset his Nazi buddy got his face smashed. Jake, I would literally spit in your face if I saw you and you wouldn't do a thing about it. Okay, it's probably also not the best response as a representative of the Jewish community to talk about spitting on Christians. I literally spit in your face if I saw you and you wouldn't do a thing about it. Don't burn your last 3 brain. And then we get Salvo came in too. Ugliest human alive. You are never making it, loser Nazi. Does making it count as a drugged out kick streamer, buddy? No, being rich and famous does though. What do you do? Oh, nothing. Glad your terrorist lover got what he deserved, pussy. You will never be shit, get a job. Yeah, Action Man is like also like he's like a normie hardcore Zionist, like somebody who was probably just indoctrinated since he was a kid. But he like made some comments, something along the lines of, where is it? It was like, okay, so apparently he went on stream. Here it is. I think this is the clip. Wait, we don't have the clip. But basically, he went on like some rant about how much he hates like Muslims, and he called for like the Israelis to be more violent in Gaza. So he got into shit for that, obviously. But anyways, okay. Where is okay. So Jake Shields responds, it's now gonna escalate. Because you ask yourself, who is this woman in his profile picture? And this is what I thought the dox info was, but apparently Jake Shields himself has posted photos of his family. So I don't, at this point, this drama's blown up. And I'm not really spreading any of that.
Just woke up.
Further than it hasn't already spread, but it's not dox info. Regardless. But basically, it heats up because Action Man starts goading Jake Shields and the like neo-Nazis that are all under his account. He thinks the good idea is to shake the hornet's nest further. So he then goes after hold on, we gotta go. Do you hate or dislike a certain race or belief system? Do I hate or dislike a certain... No. I think that race is it's conceptual. So it's not like I only value race in so much as I know that people have treated it like it's an actual thing and that it's had a real impact on history. But other than that, the concept of race is completely useless to me as a categorizing as like a categorization. I think ethnicity is far more useful. But regardless, in regards to a certain belief system, I dislike every belief system that isn't my own. Okay, cool. When and where and what escrow account? Take it out of your bank and let's give it to someone mutually. But wait, hold on, where? Fuck. Let's do an MMA match. Let's each put up 500K. Winner gets the money. Loser says sorry and deletes X account. What do you think, you big, dumb, useless Nazi? What are you gonna do? Keep running from me, pussy. He offers to bond the guy out who had attacked Sneeko. They agree to a boxing match. Then Action Man says, let me go on record that I have too much to lose to go farther than this, but you probably can fill in the blanks on where I was going. Oh, wait. Okay. Then we get, hey, Jake Shields, take the Hebrew... okay, dude. Take the Hebrew penis out of your mouth and let's send this money to this escrow account so we can... I don't know what that is. So we can set a date. Don't run from me, you Nazi pussy. I noticed you called me an F-slur. Is there any way you could explain these pictures really fast or nah? And then we have very interesting photos of Jake Shields during his, because he used to be, I'm pretty sure, like a semi-famous kickboxer or whatever. Now he's like a Nazi Twitter account. Yo, thank you so much, Midge, for the $2 fucking dollars. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. That brings us nearly a quarter of the way to Streamly goal. Much appreciated. If you too want to help out the channel, you could support us by tipping through Streamlabs and Super Chat. Another great way to help us out is by liking. If you have not already, we have 90 watching, 26 likes. We could totally get that number up. It's free. It's easy. Helps us out. You could also support the channel by clipping any interesting moments from my streams that you think other people would want to see and putting them on X or other relevant platforms. Okay. Update. Nazi wash retard Jake Shields backs down and makes excuses in DMs. I'm gonna be busy for a while. I told you he was a pussy. Game over. How could you let your fans down? Dude, what's the account? You asked for this. You should have had this all set up. You have no idea what I make, Jew, but let's get this set up. I'm gonna be busy for a while, but let me know when and what rules and we can figure out how to set the money up. What? You just said fly out tomorrow if I showed you proof I did and now you're ducking me? Holy shit, all you Nazis are pussies. Yo, thank you so much for the... Yeah, I'm just gonna tell Tempest I'm hungry if the stream doesn't work out. Yeah, dude. Yo, ironically, thank you, Tempest, the 3. I'm doing my obligation as a land whale to fatten up Aiden so he can join the Lard Arm. Okay, I don't think that's actually Tempest, but thank you for the 3. I disavow. 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 Bold play there, Jake, but you actually got rage baited into a clear-cut defamation lawsuit. Good job. Sorry, guys. Jake Shields backed down because he didn't want to smoke. He's afraid of Jewish people, and he didn't want me beating him into a coma in front of the world. I don't think that's... I would be surprised if that's what this guy's scared of. He's a professional fighter. Don't ever talk to me like that again, coward. I always knew your parents raised a loser Nazi coward. I'm going to be busy for a while. The internet will never forget this.
Sup, everyone? Action Man here. Well, guys, it looks like Jake Shields is a huge pussy, and I was talking to him in DMs, and let me tell you guys something. This guy has an IQ of maybe 60. Complete brain dead retard, can barely enunciate words or comprehend anything that's going on.
There are unironic theories that Jake Shields has like CTE. I've been following.
Comprehend anything that's going on whatsoever, but yeah, I showed you the DMs. We were setting everything up, and at the last second, he decided that he's going to be busy for a while. What a fucking pussy. Anyways, another victory for me, and another huge loss for that huge retarded Nazi pussy.
Oh my god! What is happening in the back? Don't you, like, feel gross? Don't you feel... You ever been in a house, like, staying in an Airbnb with your friends, where where like all sorts of people are coming in. You guys are drinking every night, eating like shit. It's like you wake up one morning, you see all the bottles laid out on the countertop in this Airbnb. You know, you have to clean it up, but you just feel so like gross, just having all this alcohol and that. Like, it's just like a weird feeling. It's just nice to come back into your clean, sober house, once you've had your fun. And it's like, I'd be like, who wants to live with their house like looking like a fraternity? I just don't get it. You don't have friends? I did. I alienated all of them for you people. And then, that's done me wonders, hasn't it? Aiden has fun. I'm literally referencing something that happened when I was 18. So, it's been a while. Dude, what's the account? You asked for this. You should have had all this set up. You don't have no idea what I make. Oh, wait, I already read this. Okay. In the DM screenshot posted here, Jake stated he's busy for a while, but asked for timing, rules, and money details to set it up. Oh my, dude, these guys are acting like an AG4L chatter, dude. Where it's like, if you don't, it's like you get challenged saying, if you don't agree, the second you've been challenged, it's running. I've said this before, my policy, what I consider running is like, if I ask you if you're willing to work out a date and time with me in the near future, that's not like a ridiculous time away, it's not running, obviously. Now you just get drunk. I literally swear on my life, I barely fucking drank. I've been, in the last month at this point, since turning 21, I have probably had a net total of like 5 beers, 1 vodka, and I turned 21 March 7th. I've had like 5 beers and 1 vodka, and most of that has happened on stream. I don't like drinking alone. For the most part, I'll have like a glass of wine or something. I smoke weed by myself. I don't drink by myself. You should call your friends. They sounded thrilled to speak to you. Is that sarcastic? Yeah, I called up when, so I told you guys a story. I guess invite chatters over to my house now. Known chatter, Calora he doesn't like when I call him a chatter. But he came over to my apartment, and I I wanted to prove with this unique opportunity that some of my stories were real. So I took the opportunity to take a trip down memory lane and call up some of my old IRLs. And then he wanted to get into a debate with my schizo German friend about like Christianity or something. So I hung up the phone because it sounded like the most boring non-tent conversation ever. My friends do not miss me. They do not miss me. But anyways, where were we? Yes. Do not ever compare me to a Chatos Goy. Yo, thank you so much. Thy Tempest is the 3. You look like skimmed milk personified. Also, yes, this is the real Tempest. I am in your chat. Hi. Thank you so much for the 3, Tempest. I might be able to eat tonight. Oh, wait, I missed... did I miss a super chat from Cam Nuggets? Sorry, Cam Nuggets. It's my bad. You talking about non-tent. Yeah, this all Jimmy does. It's just snark me. You ever think maybe I'm not the bad guy here? Have you ever considered that? Maybe I'm not the bad guy? Maybe the reason your life is so bent out of shape is not because of me. And you don't have to take it out on me. And possibly, if you're cool, you could even get a friend. Okay. So, as this continues, so Jake Shields accepts the terms, showed him proof of money. It seems like Jake Shields, I'll be fair to the Nazi, he's willing to arrange a time. Then there's like, he's threatening to sue him. Thanks for all the free clout. Been smoking weed, laughing. I feel like this guy is purposefully trying to like say all the wrong things to get more like negative attention. He then goes after Arthur Quan Lee. Arthur Quan Lee is an Asian groiper neo-Nazi. That is like, he has some weird like he's had falling outs with the Nazis several times because he's like sometimes like deviated from their ideas, and they've said like he can never be loyal to us because he's not white or whatever. But he's basically like he's been spending years as an Asian trying to win the approval of white supremacists, and he's also like very obviously closeted gay. I hate everyone involved in this situation. Just total transparency. You look like a smoked out Mulan movie character with Down syndrome. I can't tell if the wind is blowing in your face or if you are staring at the sun. And the physiognomy of this picture tells me you have a small dick and are probably around 5'6". It then escalates. Hey, Jake Shields, your daughter is a fat, disgusting pig. I don't know. Okay, listen. This is territory you never want to go into. This is territory you never want to go into. Yes, Jake Shields is technically, he's a celebrity, very public presence. Everything about his life is out there. But even though that's true, on principle, no, it's not even someone's family, because I don't even give a fuck when it comes to the spouse. It's the kids. It's the kids. I don't think this person's not a minor, but regardless, on principle, I think when you go after people's kids, you have brought things to a dark level, and I just don't think it's called for here, especially since he's willing to fight you and everything. Aiden had to learn that first. I haven't gone after anyone's kids. I've gone after anyone's kids. That's going to be because it's the Aiden cycle. So I'm going to have another big drama. I think that's what it might be next year. And it's actually every time I leave the country is when it happens. So I think that this summer is going to be crazy. So thank you, Sardino, with the 3. Only 10 cents are for you. The rest is for your Mexican mods you abuse and whip on the daily. Thank you so much, but it's hilarious you think they're getting any of that. You just need one good dub, Aiden, and there is nobody that I could consciously recollect that isn't here anymore as a result. Who am I trying to win back at this point? The actual number drop is from like ACC lurkers. The core audience, though, for the most part, I think it's not a big core audience, so I'm gonna have low viewership. But for the most part, I think has recovered pretty well. With that being said, bro, wait, hold on. Yo, thank you so much for the 5, Will, for 1. He's not getting any. Aiden, if you don't mind me asking, how do you have the money to cover your travel expenses? I'm a Nepo baby. My dad is a multi-billionaire, and I get the profits from his multi-billion-dollar oil corporation where they just dump oil into the sea. They buy oil just so they could dump it into the fucking ocean and kill more animals. So I benefit off of that money, and I make sure that the countries I visit have dubious human rights reputations. Like, I'm gonna make sure to give my money to Turkmenistan this summer, the Turkmen government. There's no proof of him in any country. Icy Chat death squads in Colombia. Yeah, that's going to be... Himpleton got a faithful sheriff cameo. Then he got a bunch of random dudes in Africa to shout me. Next, we're going to be getting videos from the Colombian Icy Chat death squads. Listen. I just want to I just want to take the Nuki chatters on a helicopter ride. A nice helicopter ride. That's not Colombia, but point remains. Point remains. Is this another photo? So did his desk just get worse? What do we have going on? So we have a pill bottle. We already saw this. We have Febreze fabric. It's a good product. But yeah, it hasn't changed a whole lot. I think we have 4 bongs now. Is that a 4th? So there's like 4 bongs. Is that a syringe? Is that a fucking syringe? That's literally a syringe. Wait, what is this guy? What drug? I get it. His cope is that he does everything except heroin. So he's never relapsing and he doesn't have a problem. What are you injecting other than... you can inject things other than heroin, but it's unideal. You could inject cocaine, but that's not the common method of consumption. You mean you don't have a Poggy's streamer syringe? No, I do. I keep it on my desk. This is literally... Queeman unironically has some shit like this. You guys don't know. You don't know. You don't know Queeman. You think you know Queeman? You don't know Queeman. Okay? You just trust me. You don't know Queeman. Is that a Canon G7X? That was the first camera I ever bought. No, it's Sony. It's likely hormones. Can't taking testosterone, like, if your levels are already, like, not that abnormal, like, actually fuck you up a little bit? Like, you'll bald, and you'll, like I just don't... The notion of, I think body dysmorphia is just mainstream. The amount of people that are actually just using, like, hormones and shit that don't need to be using it is crazy. Soy talking points. Is that Hubert? Is that Hubert? Soy talking. I'm Hubert. I think your talking points are soy. Well, you know what, buddy? You can cope taking your fucking TRT and losing all your hair and, like, getting testicular cancer. And I'll be sitting here drinking my Soylent, living to an old age, in peace and prosperity. So it's just a shit show, shit flinging back and forth. Hey, Jake Shields, for our first date, I'm taking her to Israel to kiss the wall to get... The fuck is that? Okay. Did the camera pick that up? Could you see that? Anyways. There's just shit flying in here, I guess. Okay. So, you guys didn't see that. You guys didn't see it. Says like I'm gonna die. I literally don't drink. I don't drink. I have had, brother, I don't, unironically, I will do I'll do a challenge. I'll piss and get it tested for one of a drop of alcohol. One of a drop. I don't, it's not, weed on the other hand I like, but alcohol, I don't need it. And I don't drink. I'm not Irish, people. I'm not fucking Irish. What do you think I am? I don't know why you would want to drink by yourself when weed exists. It's like for the only positives, and this is why when I do drink, it has mostly been on stream. I'll have a beer or whatever. The only positives to alcohol are that it makes socialization a lot easier. I find it easier to talk if I'm like a little buzzed. But like other than that, like outside in a non-social situation, I don't see the appeal. Whatever is wrong with me, because let's be honest, there's something wrong with whatever you want to call it. It's called autism, call it whatever. I don't know what it is. There's something wrong with me, like very wrong with me, and disappears when I have alcohol in like social settings, and makes it a lot easier. But I think that's the dangerous part of it, right? Because it's effective at what it does, so it's very easy to use it as a crutch and then become reliant on that and develop a alcoholism, develop a dependence, becomes a physical addiction. You're so cool and edgy. What about, I hate when people do this. They do the sarcastic, wow, you're so cool, and as if like that was what I was trying to do. That was not how I was trying to come across. Okay. So we have that. What is this? I mean, I think it's shitty. I think all these people suck. I think this guy is I think Ac7ionman is a genocidal maniac on the side of Zionists. I think Jake Shields is a genocidal maniac on the side of Nazis. I think that both of them are insanely low IQ, and just like collectively combined still would not have the brain cells of a single individual. So I think that everybody involved in this situation should fight each other to the death, quite frankly. Now, what is going on with Chleepy and Augie? Because I've been hearing some stuff, and I remember I don't watch Augie's streams. It's not a personal thing. I don't watch Aiko's streams. I don't watch Dicker's streams. I don't watch Queeman's streams. I don't want, it's not nothing personal. But, and I haven't spoken to Augie in quite some time. I tried to give him a call. But me and Augie are cool and everything. There was awkwardness. At least I detected a little bit of awkwardness when me and Diorio were having our spat. But apparently, him and Chleepy are going at it. Chleepy is taking it upon himself to be sort of the new Liquid Sonic in the sense of like, he's like the fighter for the opinions of new commentary, I guess. And as a result of this, he's beefing with Augie, I guess. So let's take a look at this. I'm not going to sweep. You're still going to say I swept anyways. One person, just so we're on our game here, chat, half of you need to accuse me of being a bad friend to Augie. The other half need to accuse me of sweeping. Okay? Just so, plan this one out, chat, because you know how it's going to be. $10 for...
So
you can work it out amongst yourselves. $54 fucking minutes. It's okay. What else do I have to do? Go hang out with friends? Sorry. I'm sorry.
When I released my video on Nick Diorio and some tweets.
Where's the Diorio snark segment, bro? Scared of Fatty? I have my issues with Nick. We don't talk to each other. He has me completely blocked. I've made these clear multiple times. I am obviously biased in the sense of I had a friendship for years with this individual, and that probably makes me not hate him as much as the rest of you do, which is understandable. If I was a chatter with no prior experience with him, and I was just looking at the new shit and my like emotional assessment of Diorio as a person, I would also probably hate the guy, to be honest with you. It's not like a conscious thing that I can help or change. I just don't have a particular hatred for the guy. I think that he is obviously completely bought and paid for by the clients advocating for retarded talking points in a dishonest manner. I think that he's insanely sensitive. I think he's a thin-skinned bitch. And I think that I just don't really like having to deal with that and what comes with that and having to walk on eggshells around that. So maintaining a bridge of any kind is completely unpalatable to me.
Followed up with a second video that involved Augie RFC. I was under the impression
I would hate him even more if he did me like he did you at that. That's like nothing, dude. I deal with shit like that all the fucking time. That's literally nothing.
that based on the response tweet from Augie, that there would be a heated beef, a battle, a fun, exciting.
Damn this 8. Okay, are we just gonna get 8,000 of these sarcastic whenever I say, wow, you're so cool, man? As if I'm trying to say, I'm just talking. What am I saying that is coming off to you as me trying to come off as cool right now? I'm just fucking speaking off the cuff. I'm literally not. Do I say things to come off as cool sometimes? Yes. Yes, I do. Of course. This is not one of those things.
Exciting battle. But in watching Augie's stream where he goes over some of the Ethan Klein lawsuit stuff and then covers my video, it's become clear to me that there's not that.
No, but Kevin, I'm admitting openly. I've tried to look cool. I'm admitting that. I'm just not doing that right now.
That much tension or disagreement here, but I will highlight the moments that there were disagreements. And
You are such a what the fuck am I even doing? I'm not even fucking doing anything. I'm just what am I I'm just existing. What am I doing?
my rebuttals. So off rip, kind of what started this entire altercation.
But nothing I said was cool. I just explained my perspective.
Between myself and Augie is Augie saying objectively it is offensive.
My whole take on this was, I said initially, objectively it is. If Gila was black and Anissa was like, shit, hey man, what you doing? That would be hilarious because it's offensive. I don't think Nick is suddenly disavowing offensive humor. It's obviously a hypocrisy argument because
Yeah, but there's no hypocrisy. There's no good hypocrisy argument to be made there. The hypocrisy argument is retarded. It's literally what conservatives make up like some caricature of your opponent to get mad at. It has never been a position. For context, by the way, Anissa Jomha had mocked Hila Klein's Israeli accent. And people were claiming there was Diorio called it offensive, and honestly depends on which part you believe. He called it offensive, and people interpret it as wow, so you're bitch made, like calling shit like this, whatever. And then Diorio said, the reason I highlighted that is to make some point about a broader point about hypocrisy, how she's doing this, but this wouldn't fly amongst the left or whatever. And that is a retarded argument. Even if you go with his hindsight explanation of what his argument was, it doesn't fucking work, because the left has never had a problem with the mockery of accents, cultures, etc. amongst groups perceived as being non-oppressed, non-marginalized, and oppressors themselves historically. This is why on the left, humor about British people will fly, but if I was to go make a joke mocking the accent of somebody in, I don't know, Ethiopia, that wouldn't fly amongst the left. It would be the historical standing of the group that would be the subject of mockery. Now, you can disagree with that. You could think, well, that's fucking lame and gay. That's fine. But let's admit that is the standard the left has based and enforced, right? And under that standard, it would be non-contradictory to do a mocking accent of an Israeli. That's completely consistent with what leftist humor, where leftist humor is willing to go. There's no broader hypocrisy point here. So even in the clarification, it's a stupid fucking argument.
Anissa is a woke schooling leftist. And the reason why, now Nick never verbally said that this was a hypocrisy argument, but...
Oh, he did, didn't he? In his follow-up?
I just assumed that was the point that he was making because...
Didn't Nick literally say in his follow-up that this was a hypocrisy argument? Does anyone have... I wish Kathy was here. Does anyone have the Reddit post?
Nick regularly engages in the same type of humor that he's calling offensive in that clip. So why would he be against it if he also engages in the same behavior? Is that not a logical argument? That's just how I see it, right? I know Nick. I know him personally. I even talked to Nick. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're not against edgy humor, right? And he was like, yeah, of course not, right?
So, a couple things to unpack there. That's an interesting sequence of statements. At the end there, what do you hear? You hear him say, I actually talked to Nick, and Nick said he's not against edgy humor. So there was some amount of communication, which is something that I referenced in my video that seemed to have pissed off Augie, okay?
It doesn't work like this. Because I had this dynamic with Nick before, where I'd be litigating, charitable talking points on his behalf, but I'd have to talk to him about things in private or whatever, and then I'd recount his defenses publicly, and I just look like I was sweeping for the guy. This just doesn't work. Ultimately, Diorio needs to man the fuck up and like get on a stream himself. You're in a losing position, doing what Augie is doing right now, where if you want to stay friendly to Nick or be friends with him despite everything, that's fine. People in this community are willing to move past and associate with people for doing way worse, right? But simultaneously, if you're then going to like litigate his arguments, you can't be using these private conversations as reference, because Nick himself doesn't actually have to face like the accountability of having his own words be analyzed and heard and used against him in a life critical setting. And you just look like sort of this guy's middleman, and you have to take the brunt of the people that are angry with this person on his behalf. And it's like, at that point, why the fuck would you subject yourself to that?
Augie was very mad that I would suggest that him and Nick were talking behind the scenes, okay? Turns out Augie comes clean, lets us know. Now, I also did say, and we'll get to that later in the video.
Comes clean? What do you mean comes clean? We know these two have been friends for like nearly a decade. He comes clean that he's talking to the guy he's been friends with for nearly a decade. Yeah, I mean, it's not like this is like a revelation.
That I said that Augie was being dishonest. I think that that's a term I probably wouldn't have used so liberally. Maybe I would have said influenced by his friend Nick, influenced by their friendship, by their communications, but also influenced by the fact that, you know, Augie was making videos with this guy, streams with this guy for a long time. Hasn't done that this year. And I don't know how tapped in Augie was prior to the recent dramas that are going on here. I know Augie's had some discussions about other mistakes that Diorio's made this year, but I don't think Augie is every week tapping into the Nicholas Diorio stream to see what he's talking about and then make a video about it.
Augie is the most loyal person on earth, and that has been his historical fault, because it has led him to maintain associations in a manner that is actually not beneficial to himself whatsoever. And it's not like all your friendships you have to be thinking, is this beneficial to me? I'm not saying you have to do that, but arguably yes, in every friendship you have there should be some benefit to you. The position of the friendship should be overly beneficial, or it should be a net benefit to yourself, not a net detriment. And you have to ask yourself, like, what the fuck am I getting out of like being someone's middleman and taking the blows on their behalf or whatever? Do you think something like the New Year's stream will ever happen again? No. There is the commentary communities. We've said this for years. I have seen every iteration of it. I've been around for every iteration of it. I joined in the fucking time of Leafy and Pyro. There is no commentary community. There's no commentary community. This is what you have right now. You have like the former homeless bread tubers. You have homeless ACCers. You have people capitalizing on the homelessness of both, mixed with remnants of a community that died a long time ago and is probably never coming back. Shit's changed. And at some point, there's just no, I mean, I don't know what, like, obviously, this is kind of a given, right? I can respect it. I'm loyal to a fault. So although this utter loyalty I think is bad for Augie, it is still a trait that makes me like him, in the sense of like, you know, I know that like unironically, I know that like if anything ever happened to me, it would unironically probably be Augie that would go and like figure it out, or figure out what the, like if I got hit by a bus tomorrow and fucking died or whatever, it would probably be Augie that would be checking on me, realizing I'm dead and telling people. Like he would be the first one to initiate that or whatever. He's a very loyal person, and you know, I although I think that is a trait that is just gonna hurt him, you know, obviously I do like him because of it a little bit.
I think not being as tapped into what Diorio's content has been like over the last year, I think it actually makes Augie a little bit more charitable to Diorio, because he's not really aware of what that content's been like, what Diorio's engagement with the clients has been like.
Aiden, I've heard you say there's no commentary community. Well, okay, if you're arguing there is a commentary community, where is the boundary drawn? Who's a part of it and who isn't? Where is the distinction made? If you're gonna say Queeman's in commentary, well then are you also saying that like President Sunday's in commentary and J-Stock's in commentary, and take it a step further, all the other like breadtube types are in commentary, or former breadtube types are like in commentary? Probably not. These people were actually not linked to the historical continuation of the community, right? They're more associated with breadtube's history. I just where there's literally, where are we drawing the lines here? If you were to create a commentary community, the reality is it would encompass hundreds of thousands of channels, because it is such a vague concept, and it's really just built off of the community aspect is just the association. It's a group of people associating with each other. Those associations, one by one, have diminished, been destroyed, rerouted. Newcomers have linked up. People have flocked to other communities, and it's just, you know, it's dead.
What does he criticize the clients in a way that's not just, you know, surface level? I don't want to offend the people that I'm kind of rocking with right now.
So that's where I was coming from with this, right? Now,
it died with the HD. The community literally died with the HD. You had increasing former breadtube influence on the commentary community, creating a powder keg that was lit by, unironically, October 7th caused the death of the commentary community. Hamas W? Literally, if you think about it, October 7th is literally what caused the death of commentary.
the alternative argument is that people see this as he's posturing, he's playing both sides, right? Where on stream, he'll say something super soy because that's what appeals to his audience. But then if he gets like a negative reaction to the soy fucking statement, then he'll provide like a additional clarification. I don't really see.
I think Augie's getting there. I think he's getting there.
That was a question, not a statement. That was a question, not a statement. I want you to know that I would never, ever support organizations deemed by the trustworthy United States government to be terroristic in nature. I would never, ever signal support for these groups. And I think that my channel name is definitely not named after. Okay, you want to know a crazy bit of lore? You know a crazy bit of lore? My channel name, Aiden Underground, is I'm named after a terrorist organization.
Idea is that on stream, he's aware that he's appealing to the age 3 audience. I'm going to say what appeals to that audience. And then let me go into the clipped live on Reddit and say what appeals to the commentary audience.
Contradictory to his original argument. And I feel like a lot of people that were like super critical of his take here on the accent stuff are not super familiar with the IDIB drama in the first place, or they just don't remember it, or they don't care that much, right? And
I thought Weather Underground sounded cool, so I co-opted the Underground.
Yes, and IDIBs are
back when I was a lefty.
Woke schooling leftists.
Hard lefty.
Maybe recently they're kind of...
I'm not going to waste too much time on the, Anissa and IDubs were woke scolding leftists. In my previous video on this subject, I feel like I pretty well explained why I don't think that that's like really that big of an argument. In this like sector of the disagreement between myself and Augie, you have Augie's position where he's like, I know Nick. Nick is a guy that is into edgy humor, is into, you know, funny impressions. So obviously he was making a hypocrisy argument. That's Augie's position. Is like, there's no way he wasn't. You know what I mean? Naturally, that's what he was doing.
Wait, sorry, hold on. You know, hold on. I gotta get a coffee real quick if we're gonna keep doing this. How far we're... All right, we're good on time. We're about halfway through stream. Do you guys want to help us out and support the channel? As always, you can do so through Streamlabs and Super Chats. Much appreciated. We are like over a quarter of the way to Streamly goal, and it would be a huge... you could choose to help us out by tipping. Another great way to help us out is by liking. This far into the stream and only 32 likes. I mean, what the fuck are we doing, people? Get your coffee, get your cocaine, because we need to lock the fuck in. Okay? So wake up, people. Wake up. It's late night with Aiden. I'm just going to make a coffee real quick and pee, and then I will be right back. We're going to cover this Augie Chleepy stuff, and then I have a surprise for everyone. Okay? I have a surprise. All right? I guess that's what you could call it, right? All right, I'll be right back, guys. One sec. Nobody fucking go anywhere. insane in addition to talented. So, you know, it hasn't really, its endeavors have started and stopped. It hasn't gone too many places. But the funny thing about him is this is all gonna be performance art. I know it already. I don't think Salvo actually believes in anything. So it's gonna be very funny to see how he provokes his whole like angst. Much appreciated. 5 from Balls Mahone. I said I was considering it when it was looking kind of grim. Like there was literally I called Augie. I said,
Here he is, right on camera. Hi, everybody. I have no problem saying it.
what is this fit, by the way? He's kind of dressed. You know, he's kind of dressed like a. What would be the word for it? Like younger people dress like this. Didn't know Rabbi Shmuley was so stylish, man.
Rabbi Shmuley is a Zionist
Is a rabbit? Probably. I don't know. What I will tell you is he's a horrible human being.
fucking pig. Here he is, right on camera. Hi, everybody. I have no problem saying it. Rabbi Shmuley. Say your name. I'm Salvo, baby. I have no problem saying it.
Why Salvo's moving the camera down to his dick?
Phone number. Why would I give a Zionist? Say it all. Zionist pig, relax. Why would I give a Zionist? Why would I give? Excuse me, officer. This man is attacking me.
What? Dude, it is like he sits there and he wakes up, Rabbi Shmuley, and he's like, how do I make them hate Jews more? Your response, it literally, unironically, it would have been better had Rabbi Shmuley just turned around and punched Salvo. Unironically, that would have been like a better look. It wouldn't play into a preconceived stereotype. In fact, it probably breaks some stereotypes. You running, acting like a victim to a cop because you're getting heckled in public, you've just like reinforced and solidified the stereotypes of tens of thousands of people.
I have it on video. I have it on video. I have it on video.
It's a hate crime. He's threatening me.
I called him a Zionist. I didn't touch him.
He came over to me and I filmed the whole.
I have it on video. I just talked to him.
He's threatening my life.
No, I didn't.
There's no evidence in this video of threats against Rabbi Shmuley's life.
Be arrested, please.
I have it on video.
Please, he has to be arrested.
They know who you are, bro.
Please, sir, he has to be arrested.
What is Rabbi Shmuley famous? Like, well, I know he got something from Oprah. He had his own show. He had like his own like TV show where he'd go in and fix people's relationships. And he's like he calls himself, he's America's rabbi. But like in terms of what he's actually done nothing. What has this person accomplished other than he was friends with Michael Jackson or something? That one was a little shady. He was friends with Michael Jackson. He had like his own show. Besides that, like what the fuck does he do? He just sits there and like makes people hate Jewish people more. That's literally his existence. Rabbi Shmuley loves Jewish people so much, the best thing you could live a private life.
Rabbi Shmuley, what happened to dialogue? What happened to dialogue, Rabbi Shmuley? Is this your husband? You let him in the...
Yo, thank you so much for the 2, Patrick! Rabbi pulled an Ethan Ralph, arrest him. Did Ralph call for someone's arrest? I never saw that. Kirby with the 3, thank you. So you guys are on fire today. Crazy. Kirby with the 3 paragraph punching the air with fist and bump written on his knuckles. Thank you so much.
You're acting such a fool every time, huh?
Let me bring it here. This is what happened to me at the Fountain Blue Hotel. I won't put up with it.
Rabbi Shmuley, why are you lying?
Me. He is harassing.
Oh yeah, he has this really weird beef with the like Fountain Blue Hotel in Las Vegas. I don't know exactly it's weird because I saw this other Zionist account making videos about how like the Fountain Blue is like the only hotel that's safe for Jews or whatever in Las Vegas or something. But Rabbi Shmuley is on his account saying the complete and total opposite, and he's like some weird beef with that. I don't know what the. All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully everyone is still here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready for the rest of the second half. Time to wow, dude. Just fucking wow. Honestly, great crowd tonight.
Here with the IDubbbz drama in the first place, or they just don't remember it, or they don't care that much, right? Anissa and IDubbbz are woke schooling leftists. Maybe recently they're kind of...
I'm not going to waste too much time on the, Anissa and IDubbbz were woke scolding leftists. In my previous video on this subject, I feel like I pretty well explained why I don't think that that's like really that big of an argument. In this like sector of the disagreement between myself and Augie, we have Augie's position where he's like, I know Nick. Nick is a guy that is into edgy humor, is into, you know, funny impressions. So obviously...
And the difference is always going to come down to, right? Should you be biased for your friends or sweep them? No. You should actively attack, but bias exists. And it's not always something you can help, and you need to do your job to identify where that is happening and recuse yourself accordingly if you think it's going to affect your coverage too much. But you assume obviously, compared to a collective of chatters that doesn't like this person versus you, somebody that has had a, near-decade friendship with this person, you assume the best of intent, where sometimes it's actually not really appropriate to assume that. And Augie probably legitimately is just always assuming the best of intent in Nick, which is then affecting how severe his take on what Nick is doing or saying is going to be.
Making a hypocrisy argument. That's Augie's position. Is like, there's no way he wasn't. You know what I mean? Naturally, that's what he was doing. And my position is...
If you could magically race swap... Again, it would be more ethnic. It would be more. I'd care more about ethnicity. Because I mean, what do you swap? Let's say, oh yeah, let's say for example, I want to become Asian. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't want to be I don't want to live in Turkmenistan. I don't want to live in Turkmenistan. Some part, I mean, Japan seems kind of nice, right? It's like ethnicity is a far more useful. Well, that would be more. That would be well, the countries themselves. That would be nationality, but the peoples within them and the historical culture, etc. Ethnicity is just a far more useful demarcation than something like race.
I think he reflexively, while in the mode of, I need to make fun of Anissa, I need to make sure that nothing Anissa says sounds funny because I am speaking to the H3 Ethan Klein audience when I am criticizing Anissa. So when Anissa does this impression, all of a sudden I have to be up in arms. I have to be like, whoa, what the fuck? That was offensive. So to side with Augie here.
I agree. I agree. I think that was like performative. Nick is absolutely performative when it comes to Anissa to appease his audience, obviously. You would have to sit here and argue. This is the other thing about Nick as well. He's so fucking stubborn. It's like he cannot, for a second, consider or be willing to entertain the possibility that, yeah, all the money you receive off of this, the fact that you have created situations that have formulated an echo chamber around yourself, and the fact that, you know, I already brought up the monetary aspect, the fact that you have such a high number of viewers that feel this way. If you're sitting here and just in complete denial that has any influence over your coverage and takes, you're just not living in reality. Like, Nick will sit here and say, oh, the money doesn't have any influence. I know for a fact, as do you, you'd probably feel a whole lot fucking stronger about a take that you were getting like 50 grand to have, right? I don't know what I'd do, how I'd feel with that much fucking money coming in. I like to think I'd stand by my principles and what I believe in, right? But simultaneously, you have to understand that it's a very different story when it's right in front of you.
I have to kind of think.
What is your position on Nick trying to differentiate him saying that's offensive? Not that he was offended. I have a hard time buying it. I think whatever way you attack this from, the argument is wrong. There are people that think Nick is lying, right? I don't know how much he's lying about the take revision per se, but if you assume that his initial take was what it sounded like, he's in the wrong and he's a hypocrite. If you take him at his word for it and assume that he actually meant what he said he meant at the time, which very well could just be like a hindsight rewriting of history, the take is still wrong. So it doesn't really matter from what angle you're attacking it at or whatever.
All right, Diorio said it was offensive.
You know what you have to do, Queeman says. Queeman wants me to have blood on my hands.
Right? He never really explained the hypocrisy argument in the stream until, you know.
I get it. Okay? I get it. I do. But this Queeman guy, Queeman is such a fucking bastard. He's a little scheming sociopath. You see the ways he schemes. He schemes. He's great at playing a crowd. He's very good at playing a crowd.
12 hours, 24 hours later, when he explained it on a Reddit
it's
post on
admirable.
Clip Live.
It's honestly, it's the Machiavellian side. It is admirable. It's impressive, honestly.
But in his head, Diorio is making a hypocrisy argument. That's kind of what Augie's saying. Augie's saying that, like, even though he didn't vocalize it, because Diorio is a guy who has engaged in that same behavior, he's making a hypocrisy argument because Anissa is this woke scolding leftist who's not allowed to engage in that same comedy, okay? For me,
I'm always gonna look gay because I have, like, I don't know if it's like a weird, I don't know if this is normal or not. But like, I'm like very autistic about like certain principles. Have I been the greatest at following them? No, I've violated my own principles numerous times, but those were typically some of my biggest learning experiences. But I like to make a conceited effort to sometimes maintain I don't want to be a bad person. And although I would love to get W's by giving everyone content and shit, I went back on it once. With Bo Blacks, I was like, I'm not gonna release this. And then people were being like, do it, man, come on, and I did it. I went, and I felt bad in the long term for doing it, because I should have stood by what I believed in. And I didn't. And was it beneficial to me to not sure? but I don't feel great about it. And I like feeling good, so I don't want to like, you know, I don't want to. But yeah, I shouldn't have even got involved last night. I mean, I think that I still stand by what I said. In regards to, I liked the trough. But the problem is everyone else knows about him and all the drama and lore for like years. You have to remember, I'd spoken to him in like VC 2 times prior. One of those VCs was like short and brief, and then most of my knowledge about the drama was all learned yesterday. So my impression of him was mostly based around my positive exchange with him in that VC, and I have maybe more charitable views of the guy than what things are in reality. But when I saw him, I legitimately just felt bad. I felt bad because it's just like some like fuck, I don't know, it's just like, it's pathetic. He's pathetic. What else can you say? And I know that's entertaining, and you've every right to be entertained. I am entertained by pathetic people all the time. But that's where that was coming from, I guess. I kind of felt bad for the guy, to be honest. Queen, yeah, that's the funny narrative. But no, what happened was I had, after my stream on him, I'd then gone into Icy and I had said, I'm going to give this guy money to go to rehab or something, because I was thinking about it. Then Goat Cato comes in and replies, he's live right now. And then I say, I'm calling in, because I didn't know he was live right now. So then I go to call in and basically re-litigate my offer. Now, the only way this would have been motivated by her is if I predicted that she was going to come in and agree with my take. To be in the best of faith, there's actually a secondary argument that I've only seen Ali Khan make, that actually my concern for the trough was real, but the calling into the stream part was motivated by her. Obviously that's a funny narrative, but that's just not what things are. I just don't have, I don't have interest in this person. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that that's a harder thing to believe than Diorio's this guy who's been covering Ethan for a year, okay? He's been very positive towards Ethan for a year. While in this mode of...
I'm ruining my life. I'm not interested in her. I'm not pursuing... I haven't been... Like, she's, like, really overemphasizing the narrative because it's funny. And I get it. But I'm not interested... Like, I'm not... There has been no interest in this person in 4 months.
Of let's put down Anissa, let's big up Ethan Klein, he reflexively says that's offensive. You know, not only is that offensive, it's bad. Like, look, at the end of the day, we're talking about like a 5-second clip that I fucking blew up. Like, ultimately, I don't think Diorio was expecting people to jump down his throat when that statement was made. I think he was just trying to, in the moment, not allow Anissa to say something funny and not allow Ela Klein to get fucking shit on. Like, let's be so for real, right? This is like a 5-second clip.
I'm a big fan.
The funniest part is that you said you would pay Icy for his rehab full stop, then got on call and said you would hedge it 50-50 with him. I haggled him down. I didn't think he was actually even gonna go, but I talked to him in private, and I've been flip-floppy. I've been really flip-floppy in private, especially to Queeman, because I started to subscribe to more of the malicious interpretation of him. I was kind of, you know, I was obviously socially influenced. Obviously, I saw so many people felt this way that I'm like, there must be something here. So I sat and called them last night, and I have to be honest with you, the guy just lies to be cool, and it is like, you want to talk about trying to look cool? It is. I don't know why. And I don't know what's real anymore and what isn't. I don't fucking know. But I'm staying away from that shit show. Do I dislike him? No, I think he's funny. I'll talk to him and shit. But like, at the same time, I honestly feel like everything I've been told is a lie.
And of Nicholas Diorio, what can I say? You do your research. I don't know. Not only is that offensive, it's also bad. Like, it's a bad impression.
But I'm also still kind of sympathetic to him. I can't decide. I can't figure it out. I just don't have a read yet. Conflicting feelings.
I can admit that I took a 5-second clip and blew it the fuck up. I can totally admit that. But I blew it up for a reason. I talked about that for the same reason I made a video on this. Nick Diorio decided not to cover. He skipped past the thumbnail section of
Dude, Queeman is smart. He is smart, man. Because you know what he did? Dude, this fucking guy. I can read him like a book. Like a book. This sick fuck was mobilizing chat towards a second Goat Cato narrative just to apply social pressure to get me to release this call for his amusement. And it is genius. It is really smart. So I have to give him credit where it's due.
Ethan Klein's stream, where listen to what Ethan Klein is about to read.
The thumbnail depicted Ethan performing a Nazi salute to the Israeli flag.
As other
creators, he did it with and I helped him with this, so I'm getting what I deserve. He did it with Dickers and Tanuki. He's very good at creating like putting pressure on people.
I've already said, Noah Sampson's thumbnail just ripped the content nuke pose and put it in his own thumbnail. Diorio in his original stream, he missed. I think
problem? No, it's only a problem when you're on the receiving end, because when you're on the receiving end of the application of pressure, it doesn't feel great. But that's why you roll with the punches, so you get to do it to other people and not look like a bitch.
Skipped personally, but missed. And so before he uploaded the VOD, he made an edit where he goes, Future Nick here.
Hey, Future Nick here. I just wanted to pop in and give you a bit of additional information on something that I had missed while I was streaming this.
Buried an hour and 41 minutes into the video, might I add. He explains that he disagrees with the inclusion of the thumbnail in the lawsuit, and he kind of softly says, I disagree with the lawsuit as a whole. Like, listen to how soft this is.
As you'll, I guess, come to learn by the end of this, I don't really agree with this lawsuit.
I don't really agree with this lawsuit.
Yeah,
again,
people who are bought and paid for, what they'll do is, now simultaneously, even if Nick did have some, like, change of mind tomorrow and actually wanted to be honest about all of this, people would still probably not believe he was being hard enough to compensate, which you probably wouldn't be. But when you want to defend somebody, a token concession, it's in its best form, how it looks, is essentially you will agree to a fault in the person that you have prior interest in underlying interest in defending. You'll agree to a fault that doesn't really have major detriment if we were to accept it as true on the character or long-term assessment of the person you're defending, right? So a good example of this would be how people defend Israel. This is a big fucking telltale sign. I've heard what people will do is they'll be like, dude, Netanyahu, the Netanyahu government, man, the Netanyahu government. What they're really doing is they're saying, well, actually, the problems of this society that have actually really been going on for decades since its inception, in a society with overwhelmingly racist attitudes that have shown themselves in law and foreign military operations, they put it all onto this guy. So if you just agree with that and accept it, Israel still comes out looking okay. It's probably the best analogy I could draw, but that is like, it's the biggest telltale sign of somebody who actually just has underlying interest and not completely or in the defense of whoever it is they're criticizing.
As you'll, I guess, come to learn by the end of this, I don't really agree with this lawsuit. I really don't think it makes a lot of sense. So I wouldn't go out.
And again, my favorite part, I have said this many times, my favorite part of this whole situation is him saying, I don't know what the lawyer was going for. Forget about Ethan Klein. I don't know what the lawyer was going for.
The arm to make it look more Nazi-esque. I'm not really sure what exactly the lawyer was going for on this one, because again,
yeah, man, blame the lawyer. The reason I bring that clip up is it's clips like that inform my perception of Diorio. Of course, that clip specifically is recent, but there are numerous.
And so he literally just did the Netanyahu thing. He puts it onto some other force to take away some of the blame for the act. He's like admitting the act is bad, right? So that's supposed to be your like controlled opposition, but the dissemination of guilt is done so in a manner that conveniently leaves the person that he suspiciously seems to have interest in defending coming out pretty unscathed. It's merely a token effort to look fair and unbiased, while actually, to me, being a super big telltale sign of inherent bias.
Numerous examples you can point to over the course of the last year. So to wrap this point up,
80 viewers, 0 chatters. Yikes. I don't know what, you know what, man? So true. Is anyone here? Rep your colors in chat. Rep your fucking colors. Where are we watching from, people? Where are we watching from?
Up with a pretty bow. When Augie says, I think Diorio is making a hypocrisy argument, as he says in the clip, he's informed by a couple of things. His relationship with Diorio, knowing that Diorio is somebody who makes offensive comments and impressions himself, and Augie's perspective that Anissa and iDubbbz have been historically woke scolding leftists. While I think in a vacuum, Augie's arguments are like totally plausible. Anyone that's been paying attention to Diorio recently knows that his takes are skewed. So my perspective is that the ultimate review guy,
Well, no, hold on. You can't just...
says in the clip, he's informed by a couple of things. His relationship with Diorio, knowing that Diorio is somebody who makes offensive comments and impressions himself, and Augie's perspective that Anissa and iDubbbz have been historically woke scolding left.
He's assuming the... Okay, what Augie is doing here, it is literally... He is assuming, for Augie's argument to work, it relies on going into it with the most charitable assumption of Nick possible, which then, within the course of the argument, is really just begging the question, because Augie's argument is what? Like, he knows Nick, he knows that Nick is edgy himself, and he knows that if he was actually making that argument, it would be hypocritical, and premise 3, Nick is not a hypocrite, therefore, that is actually not the argument that Nick was making, and the more plausible alternative comes into play. What is the problem here? Premise 3, you have to be going in... Premise 3 is begging the question, because any argument that would demonstrate fault or hypocrisy would therefore be rejected under this frame of reasoning. There is not... You would have to, under this line of reasoning, always go with the most favorable interpretation of the intent and argument of whoever it is you're discussing.
Leftists. While I think in a vacuum, Augie's arguments are like totally plausible, anyone that's been paying attention to Diorio recently knows that his takes are skewed. So my
Thank you so much for the 5! Holy shit! Matrix, thank you so much. Character saying you rock. Well, you rock. Matrix, thank you so much.
perspective is that the ultimate review guy decided to say that this little impression was offensive. Actually, let me correct that. I don't want to say decided to say, I think reflexively said it. Because again, he does cut himself off when he says, but you should ask yourself, why would someone reflexively call something offensive? And the fact that it was reflexive makes it even harder for me to think, oh yeah, he was like doing some fucking analytical hypocrisy argument. All right, let's look at a couple more Augie takes here.
This is one thing I would clarify too, because I did think about this a little bit. Initially, I thought Anissa was doing like a fucking racist voice or whatever, right? Where it's like, the joke is he was Israeli, and that's why her voice is funny. But I did logically think about the argument, genuinely, before stream. I was like, I could see how it's just make fun of her voice, because you can make fun of a lot of American people's voices, right? Look, calling something offensive, here's what it comes down to, right? Calling something offensive doesn't mean that you yourself find that to be offensive, right? If I watch a video,
when you do it in that context, okay. When you do, I haven't even argued from the, I've been charitable to Nick here, because I'm literally, once again, I'm arguing against the argument that he says he was arguing for in hindsight. But ultimately, if you're actually taking the time to denote something as offensive verbally, there is some indication that this exceeds a threshold that would make it like not okay. The fact that you even have to just point out that it is offensive, because there are tons of things that Nick would say or do that would obviously be offensive to someone that we don't take the time to actually verbally, express as such, because we're not offended by it or view it as wrong. So obviously the context of you actually taking the time to describe it as such kind of adds a new layer.
Sam Hyde calling a bunch of black people the N-word, and I'm like, holy shit, that's offensive. I would assume that you would.
Okay, two things. A, obviously you compare things that are not alike, but at the same time, I think Anissa doing an impression of Ela Klein versus Sam Hyde calling a black person the N-word, a little different. B, I find it very hard to believe that Augie, his first reaction to something would be...
It comes down to one is viewed as punching up, the other is viewed as punching down. And that's also why the hypocrisy argument doesn't work, because the left is okay with humor that punches up, even if it's offensive.
That's offensive. Not only is that offensive, it's bad. I don't think I'd ever hear that come out of Augie's fucking face, okay? Augie would be...
Or that they perceive as punching up.
Fucking laughing, crying, you know what I mean? Like, there's no... there's no way he would call that offensive. Not reflexively, at least. But yes, you can call something... You can explain that something is offensive without personally taking offense to it. Yes, I agree.
Dude, when I met Augie IRL, it was so funny. When I met Augie IRL, it's literally just like, Jew. It's the first thing when I meet him.
With that.
As a viewer of my streams are going to assume that I'm not saying, oh my God, that's offensive. I'm offended by that. That's terrible. It's that I'm saying it's offensive. Oh my God, I can't believe he's being that offensive. That's fucking hilarious, right? Like, you have to acknowledge that you can call something offensive without you personally finding it.
Yeah, we only have a still image because Himpleton just won't send me the video. I've been sent this still image. This is rough, man. This is rough. Why is he doing that? I think that I think that honestly, it was totally worth it for us to like fund some warlord that is clearly like taking these guys as like battle trophies from the village that he pillaged and decimated. It was worth it for a funny joke. Based. Dude, he used the ghoul image. He used the ghoul makeup image to send to them. So that's the image they're kissing. The fucking deal is with that?
Offensive yourself, right?
Okay, I agree. We're gonna skip ahead. So now Augie has pulled up my video. Let's have a look at some of the takes he has here. Oreo's history as a content creator. This is the most money he's ever made. It's the most attention he's ever had. It's hard to move away from that. It's crazy to say.
Not sure I get it. So Himpleton gave money to a bunch of like random dudes in Africa to congratulate me on converting to Christianity and beating AIDS. Now, these guys, obviously, I do not have AIDS. Obviously, I'm not converting to Christianity, and it is obviously abnormal for people in some random part of Africa to know about or nevertheless discuss my existence. So this is a violation of what you would expect. It is a violation of expectation while simultaneously being perceived as safe, and under benign violation theory would therefore be perceived by many to be humorous.
Say this given Nick Dioreo's physical dimensions, but he is.
Tommy's a fucking. Yeah, we're gonna get Tommy to start.
Tommy is a really good.
I
I still don't understand why Tommy's Israel voice is racist. I don't get it.
Okay, shout out Augie. Young Augie always agreed with me. Okay, young Augie before all of the bias. Okay, before all of the corruption, all of the dishonesty. Okay, before Augie became a dishonest hack. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. Don't take that to heart. Augie's gonna have a take here. I don't like the spirit of it. Now I understand what Augie's doing. Okay, Augie's offering a perspective that kind of defends his friend, and I think Augie's being a good friend in doing this. I disagree with what he's saying, and if
I kind of
Yo, thank you so much. How about nope with the 730? Buy yourself a joint. Don't listen to the haters. AG4L. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Out at this point on Twitter where
I gotta quit weed.
To be fair, I kind of jumped out at this because I was like, fuck you. Like, it's my opinion. This isn't. But
I gotta say, I can appreciate someone acknowledging when they chimp out, okay? I hope that I have the strength to acknowledge when I chimp out.
I'll say, because he is doing a nice thing here by throwing me a bone here by saying like, oh, you're just a bigger friend, and then I was like, fuck you.
This is what thank you.
Chleepy is fair. Chleepy is fair.
Thank you.
I love this four-tier reacception.
You, Augie. Okay. See, I was getting worried.
We need like commentary records, okay? I think I'm the first. I had the biggest video in commentary history in terms of viewership. I outdid Leafy's most viewed video. So I broke that record. There's no book thanking me for it. But there was and I was also, I think, the only commentary streamer to have someone pull their asshole out on stream. So don't mean to brag or anything. But we need a record for like the highest tier reacception. I think we almost surpassed it yesterday because we were there. It was like some crazy fucking reacception yesterday.
I was getting worried because I did throw you a bone, and then you go, fuck your bone, you fucking asshole. My opinions are my own. And I'm like, dude, it's just a bone. Just a bone. That's all it is. Obviously, I understand when you give that bone, you are in some ways, pushing on their credibility, and that's obviously what he kind of took issue with. But I appreciate this nonetheless.
But I will say this. I don't just have takes on the basis of, and nobody's in chat's gonna believe me. This is genuinely how I see it. Like, I don't look at things genuinely as like, well, here's my friend. How do I defend them? Blah, 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 blah. No, I really try to look at situations objectively for how they are. Now, sometimes it just doesn't fucking work. I can't control everything.
He does, but he's not aware of like his own. It sucks, man. I'm probably biased in favor of Augie here, but like Augie he has good intentions. He has good intentions. But I just like he has to understand like under the line of argumentation that he provided as like how he came to the conclusion he did on Nick's take, there would literally be no scenario where he would ever be able to accept an argument that would have an uncharitable interpretation of Nick's take under the premises he provided. And that like line of reasoning just makes you a blind loyalist. And although I think you should be loyal to your friends, I think what is the best type of friend, a friend that, I would value the most, is one that can come to their friend when they're fucking up. And because of that friendship, it's not like there's going to be, you don't have the risk of humiliation and embarrassment, excommunication. And you could have a low stakes conversation where you could get grounded and get some feedback on like what it is you're doing wrong from somebody you respect, which can be very valuable. insight for growth and doing better. And honestly, the best types of friends are the ones that can sit there and tell you you're being a fucking moron right now. Like, you're being an actual idiot.
Thing, right? But like with the whole Willie Mack stuff, for instance, right? Willie Mack show had retarded takes in boxing last summer. And so I called Willie Mack out on my stream. And then Willie Mack was like, dude, what the fuck? We're friends. You've obviously turned on me and sold out. Tommy C does the same shit where he's like, you align yourself with a group of fucking scum.
You have to be like insanely sensitive to think that Augie turned on you. Unironically, if the fact that it is the biggest tell of what a fat paranoid fuck Tommy C is, that he couldn't even maintain the Augie bridge. Like, you seriously have to, like, that's just an absurd concept to me. Augie, by his nature, is always inherently sweeping for his friends. And even then, that was still not enough for Tommy. He's still, like, because he's such a sensitive fat fuck, he still threw, like, a tantrum and a bridge burn with Augie over it. Even me, I went into Tommy's DMs, the whole initial falling out, in a manner where I was babying him. I was talking to him like a fucking disgusting adult fat baby, but I went to his DMs, and I was like, hey, man, like, I think we could have a productive discourse. And he's like, that's so fake. That isn't the way I talk. You're right. The reason I was talking that way is because I didn't want to make you mad. I didn't want to make you, like, and he still got mad anyway. Even when I'm literally coddling him, he still gets offended and gets mad anyway because he's such a fucking sensitive prick. I honestly don't know what the hell this dude was doing in Iraq, because surely that should have hardened you at some point. It clearly didn't. Tommy's like the most easy to trigger individual ever, which is hilarious because he's a Fox News boomer that loves to talk about how fucking triggered the left is, what snowflakes they are.
Scumbags, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I don't look at it that way. I'm not looking at it as like, let me align myself with the right take or the right...
Well, obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit and how baby-like what I was saying, but the point, I was speaking to him in a manner that was maintaining an excess level of politeness and clarity that I would not necessarily apply if I was talking to others, because to avoid offense. But I wasn't doing it in a way where you would read that and overtly think, this guy thinks I'm stupid. You know, I know how to, you know, not do that.
Group or play this political game. I really am just trying to just
extorting worse. I don't know where executive decision is. I honestly don't know where the guy is. My wallet got a lot lighter, and I started looking around. I'm like, where did this guy go?
Express myself honestly.
I'm kidding.
And sometimes I'm going to honestly agree with Diorio. Yeah, sometimes I'm not, right? And
I also think,
I don't know, it just...
First off, I can appreciate what he's saying here. I also think that, again, just like everybody, every human being, you are informed by the information that you consume. And I've consumed far different information than Augie has. Augie obviously has had his disagreements with Diorio.
That's all you see him as? No. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. There are people that I only know about because they give me money. Obviously, no shit. But there are a lot of chatters that don't give me a dime that I give a lot of attention to and like. So it's not. It's like, obviously, I'm incredibly appreciative you give me money. So I'm gonna have a favorable view of you, but I'm not gonna pretend like that all of a sudden means like I value, like I'm super like into you as a person as well, right? I think that's just fake. The substance of you as a person is what's gonna make me like you, or you know.
He's gone on and had debates about Diorio, but he's not looking at, you know, I'm not gonna act like I look at everything Diorio does, but I look at...
Aiden doesn't... There are very few chatters that I actually dislike. I have temporary moments of dislike. Where I will absolutely hate someone for an hour, but you know, it's not like a fucking... Amongst my chatters, there are chatters from other people's chats that I hate. But amongst my chatters, there's nobody that I think I actively like dislike inherently. There are people that, once again, I dislike momentarily. Like Raven. I don't dislike Raven, but when Raven is fucking spamming my chat, I temporarily hate his guts. So, you know.
More shit. I see the clips. I'm consistently making videos about this.
Thank you so much for the $1, Patrick. A pile of poop with a face. Much appreciated, buddy. For that, Patrick, this Patrick guy, my funniest chatter, my old pal, old chum. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Patrick. Much appreciated.
subject about the Kleins as well. Like, I think that because of the information that I'm taking in, it has informed my perception of Diorio in a way that Augie just wasn't ready for yet, or had.
Have you considered the sudden intense feel? Yes, I do a lot of introspection. But I mean, what use is it for me to sit here and be like, oh, the way I am, that's not normal, or whatever. It's like, I just am the way I am, and how do I create the best scenario in life under these circumstances that I am in? And all things considered, I've gotten lucky in many facets. Certain things have come easy to me.
Hadn't already been exposed to that same information yet.
It's probably a bad strategy because it just gets me hated by fucking everyone. You know, I
don't hate Augie. I don't hate you, Augie. Giving my read of it, I think Augie's being a little dishonest in this tweet.
Okay, so he says I'm being dishonest.
I disagree with what
it's so wholesome. Everybody's like, I don't hate you. I don't hate you.
Yeah, like I shouldn't have said that. Dishonest is that's such a loaded term to say there.
Dude, even Chleepy's like starting to feel.
If I'm giving my read of it, I think Augie's being a little dishonest in this tweet. However, I will say, once again, I understand he is trying to be a good friend, so I'm willing to give him the pass, okay? So let's get into this chronologically. I've already shown you the clip, but we'll play it again because that's what happened first. We're skipping the clip. To defend Ela Klein. Defend the Kleins at all costs, figure it out later, rationalize it later. The hypocrisy argument wasn't in his mind. He was thinking bad things.
Chleepy skipped the clip because he's secretly Israeli, and it was going to invoke like a primal rage in him, and he didn't want that to come out, so he had to skip. I actually don't know what Chleepy is.
Said about Ela Klein. This must be anti-Semitism. This must be offensive. This must be something wrong.
It sounds like Barney from fucking.
Okay, I mean, this take is.
He's very this is the most ambiguously ethnic guy you've ever seen. Like you know he's something, you just don't know what he is.
Like plausible.
Is he Spanish? Is he from the Caucasus? Is there like some Georgian in there?
I suppose, right? But it's like this whole idea. It feels reductive to me, like this thinking that Diorio can't even disagree with them once, otherwise he'll lose like significant, like tens of thousands of dollars, right? If he disagrees with them a few times.
This is where I'm saying that
nobody is contesting that Diorio is obviously allowed to disagree with Ethan Klein. The point is, the disagreements that he will accept will serve as nothing more than tokens to show that he has the ability to disagree with Ethan Klein, but the acceptance of these disagreements would lead to facts that are actually not that detrimental on the assessment of Ethan Klein as a person. That's why it's controlled opposition and it's safe disagreements that just functionally serve to placate people who want to believe that Diorio is unbiased.
Perception and the information that you take in kind of influences your take. Augie does not know the depth of which Diorio has like connected his whole fucking shit with the Kleins. The audience that Diorio has that come from the Kleins are always going to be more partial to the Kleins than to Diorio. And if Diorio wants to keep those people around, he cannot have a moment that causes Ethan to be like, I don't fuck with Diorio anymore. We've already seen that the H3 podcast, when they put a competitor show on at the same time slot.
I don't know what it's going to be with Nick after he falls off. I honestly, it's like, oh, how do you know he's going to fall off? Everybody falls off. Everybody. And when it's an influx as sharp as Nick's off of what really, I thought it was a temporary drama. At this point, I'm convinced EHD will literally never end. So maybe he will keep an audience forever. I don't know. But what goes up must come down, and the same goes for an audience. And I just am very curious to see how he'll play his what he'll be left with when the bulk leaves. He'll probably have the bulk. He'll probably have like a core audience of like 1,000. He'll probably still do 1,000 concurrent, maybe, like Chud, but.
As Diorio, his numbers go from 4K to 2.5K. So I imagine he does have some concern about stepping on Ethan Klein's toes and what that could do to his viewership. I'm not saying that he could never.
At Aiden Underground, you pretended to want to help me. Then I see screenshots of you saying KYS. You are the worst kind of person. Can I see the context of that? I think I've said that to everyone.
Bounce back and get to similar numbers one day. But of course, if Ethan Klein decided to cut ties with him today, his viewership would be cut in half at least.
Like, I just haven't seen that proven that, like, if Diorio were to disagree with like an Ethan Klein point, or if he were to even laugh at an Anissa joke, suddenly that would cost him tens of thousands of dollars, and therefore he'll never fucking go that far. It does seem like that take does feel like it's coming from people that have no fucking idea how YouTuber streaming works.
Chleepy's a JM267. I'm like an E1B. It's like E1B1B. I'm E1B1B. E1B1B for my paternal lineage.
works and how income works. I mean,
I hear what Augie's saying, but again, then why
is that
haven't-
actually the trough? I don't. That's Kathy. That's gotta be. That's obviously it's Kathy. Let me check. I mean, you could call in, buddy, if you want to talk. Hold on. If this is Kathy, I'm gonna be mad. I'm actually gonna be mad. It's so the impersonation shit is gay as fuck. Where is? Why can I not find him in chat? Why can I literally just not find him? I'm in the live chat option. Go up. What? He's right under Ivana. I gotta go to Ivana. There he is. Got him. Yeah. Nice fucking try. Nice try, Kathy.
we seen that? Why haven't we seen an outright disagreement between Diorio and Ethan? I guess Diorio's just been getting really lucky that he doesn't disagree with anything Ethan's done over the past year. What did he say about the lawsuit again? What was his take?
As you'll, I guess, come to learn by the end of this, I don't really agree with this lawsuit. I really don't think it makes a lot of sense. So.
What's his ad? What's his ad? The trough. Also, why would you... I don't... Is that the... Can somebody check if that's actually him?
So I wouldn't go out of...
I don't really agree with his lawsuit. Okay, man. Like, I thought this guy was like a free speech guy. I thought this guy cared about shit like that. Look, it's financially beneficial for Diorio to keep this bridge as alive and healthy as possible. So yeah, like he doesn't go as hard at Ethan as he probably should. And I think that that's something that I'm more than allowed to cover.
Honestly, I don't know if I'll go this far, but if Diorio tonight heel turned and decided, you know what, fuck you,
this take made no sense.
Ethan, he would get a lot of backlash, but I almost feel like the viewers like a heel turn in a lot of different ways. I've seen like lots of viewers in the past.
Augie, what are we doing, man? What are we doing, bro? I actually did not hear any of this. What is this? Holy cope. Holy fucking cope. You know what the other thing is, too? Split the Reddit. Why do you two still have the same Reddit? Or just give the Reddit to Diorio. Big conflicts of interest. But, like, what... Do you actually... There's no shot anyone thinks that's true. Obviously, there would be some people that would stick with him. But the bulk of his audience would be gone.
Viewers would have so much cognitive dissonance over the last year worth of content. I don't know who the fuck... Who's gonna be like, oh yeah, awesome shit, you know, awesome shit, Diorio. The H3 audience drops him like that immediately. So
if you were to appraise Ethan Klein for what he is, honestly, not holding anything back, the bulk of his audience would leave. Because what reality shows us is that the interpretation of Ethan Klein as a person is not a pretty one at all. This is not a good person. This is not in any regard. He is not this victim of unreasonable anti-Semitic bad faith actors that he has tried to lead only the utmost morons into thinking that he is. And to really analyze that in an honest fashion would offend a lot of those people.
Audience cut in half. Anyone with a
Diorio might even be accused of being an anti-Semite if he were to do that.
brain is like asking themselves why this didn't happen sooner. And then maybe you got like 700 left that are like diehards for Diorio.
And also, he's so deep in it. If he wanted to get out, where is he going to go to? It's give up the bulk of your audience and you're a cash cow to maybe hope that you're accepted back into these people with that understand that a visceral hatred of you for over a year or a year. What is there to go back to for him?
I mean, that's respectable.
This type of shit where it's like, yeah, they'll obviously lose a significant portion of their audience and maybe even some money, but like the overall support will still be there. I mean, how many times has Destiny cut off like massive chunks of his audience when he went after Hassan or when he decided that, you know what, fuck the
This is the thing.
It
though,
doesn't
like, when
work
was Destiny
like that. Not every audience is the same. You can't say this enough. people are always like, I've said it to Augie himself. I've said this, told the story a million times. I used to always say to Augie, I'd rather have your 50K channel than my 700K channel. The reason being, I had a huge, massive people that weren't even actively there for me. They just saw videos they liked and hit subscribe. Augie had like an actively mobilized audience that was there for him, listened to his opinions, what he thought on shit, would engage as a result, etc. And as a result, his audience in action and function really looked and was, frankly, a lot bigger than mine at my peak. The audience is different, but to achieve that, you need to have a personality that is worth clinging to amongst the audience or whatever. And say what you want about Destiny, but a lot of his audience was there for the personality rather than any inherent like principles, beliefs, or positions. And that audience is big, or was big. They were a big chunk of Destiny's audience, and therefore he wasn't really risking losing a lot when he'd take on these battles.
In Orbiter.
At least to my knowledge. I'm not a Destiny expert, so I could be totally off on this.
When was Destiny orbiting a bigger content creator? I don't know if that's ever happened. Maybe I'm like wrong on the history of Destiny. Typically people would orbit him. I guess in that case you could point to Vosh being like a good example of somebody who sprouted their own career after orbiting him. Maybe Diorio is like the next Vosh, you know? Maybe
engage with the commies anymore and stuff like that, right? Like, hasn't Destiny axed his audience in half like multiple times throughout his entire career? And obviously he's been financially
Isn't that what Bo Blacks wanted? But yes, but you can't have this sense of fucking entitlement. Like that it should, like, just because you try it, you have to, when you're marketing yourself, you have to not think like you anymore. And you have to be like, if I was fucking some nobody, why the hell would I watch me? Why would I watch me? I ask myself that at the end of every stream, and there have been many streams where I walk away, I'm like, this was a shit stream. It's fucking dog shit stream. But because I think of the perspective, like, who would watch that? Who would watch that? It was so boring. You have to get outside of your own head, and ultimately, Bo Blacks bet on a personality-dependent audience that he had actually no basis for believing would exist. He had no evidence that his personality would sustain that audience, and that he had in fact, had evidence to the contrary, because when he tried to inject his personality into content, as you saw, with shit like, what is that? With shit like, like, you saw the change at, hold on. Did he try to do it here?
Hello, everybody. I'll be on.
This is a compilation. Hey, he doesn't inject it. Where is it? The best of Twitter verses. Where he doesn't. This is the thing. This is the thing. And I've said this before. And it's obvious. It's apparent, right? Bo Blacks was a functional YouTuber. His existence and success was because he served a needed function, not because he was particularly entertaining. It is incredibly useful to have all these scattered tweets aggregated in one video that you could watch, and he served that function great, and that was what made him money. He had creative ambitions, and made the mistake of not separating that from his financial reality and financial needs, and tried to experiment with something that really its value should just be and fulfill the function and get your fucking cash, right? If you want something more than that, go make a second channel under a new name. But if you go like, he had evidence his personality wasn't gonna work out because he did like best of Bo Blacks.
Jelly Bean is a minor, and Beastburger is 29 years old, is married, and has
And this was before his drama. This was before his drama. He got snarked to death over this video. Yes, you expect when you have a cash cow that is working and it is your main, you don't have a fallback option. You don't get experimental like that just because you want to have fun and fucking prance around and pretend to be a big YouTuber. You want to do shit like that, your creative ambitions, you do that in a way where you're not risking much.
Kids.
Because it's a recipe for fucking disaster. It's like, yes, YouTube has existed historically as a creative outlet, but it's not just that. For many people, this is monetary. What the important part is making your money.
Relevance-wise, fine from that, you know? So the idea that if Diorio were to criticize Ethan Klein or laugh at an Anissa joke, like even just subtly, right? It
if
does
you have a
kind of,
wife, you shouldn't go around experimenting with men. Well, that's true. That is true, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you for that insight, Kevin.
I don't buy that fully.
I mean, there is like a decent amount of history of Ethan being like extremely
It's like the professor that has to pretend like they're grateful for some student's useless fucking contribution after raising their hand because they wanted to talk.
vindictive and having thin skin. So I think in Diorio's position, having a healthy amount of
It's a
fear.
really good job. I didn't. It did. Some kids was fucking. People just raise their hand to fucking yap. And they have nothing to say. Whoa. Whoa.
Screenshot that Ethan Klein posted, and this is the topic that Papa Gut was discussing. It was regarding the Clips channel and Trisha Paytas wanting a cut.
Person I worked with was a bad guy. You know, I will say something because I like Ethan. You know, got to establish that. So I guess
In before Aiden talking about I can't take it anymore. I just can't fucking take it anymore. Why are we tracking everything that I'm talking about? I will talk about anything and everything. There is no topic that is so deep that I have to exercise restraint in how much I talk about it. I talk about everything and anything. And I talk about things multiple times. And I will talk about things again. You don't need to note every single time I am talking about something again.
say something crude about him. It sounds like it has credibility.
Listen to how nice he's being just to start. I like Ethan. I want to make sure that people know I like Ethan before I say a criticism.
No, but I like Ethan. But I saw this like weird clip where
50 million monthly views while the
Okay, where's the Augie part? Did I just...
And try to make sure that I'm not, you know, eating the Zog Chow too much, at least, right? But, you know, I also want to provide a counterbalance because honestly, I do despise to some level an amount of groupthink. Actually, I don't want to say that because I'm hypocritical of that, but I understand that there is an incentive to every argument that is being made, right? And so I just want to provide enough of a counterbalance to that.
Don't
and really
give in.
test
I
that
won't. I won't. I won't.
idea.
Sounds like the bear from the Cleveland show. But you're saying Apu because she's doing like a weird... Everything she does sounds like a weird Muslim accent, too.
Now we're calling it a weird Muslim accent.
I won't give it... Dude, the one guy temptation. It's just too... It's too bad, man.
It has nothing to do with Anissa being hypocritical to her leftist ideals. This is just a post-hoc rationalization.
The worst part is when you know they're one guying you and you get mad anyway.
That Nick Diorio is trying to offer so that it doesn't seem like he was being a pussy on stream. Because guess what? He was being a pussy on stream. But let's continue the clip. We're 1 minute and 4 seconds in. Let's see if in the next minute he says anything else.
Her only concept of accents is...
Yeah, we're going to skip ahead of here.
The famous Elon Brett vicariously...
He's a woke scolding leftist. Again, that was nowhere near what he said in the clip. This is all post-hoc rationalization. This is all an excuse that we come up with.
I mean, he didn't really say anything in the clip other than that it's offensive and it's also bad, meaning that he didn't like it, right? So, to be fair, both of us, me and Chleepy, are speculating on what Nick's actual take is, right?
True, it is speculation.
Except Augie's process for speculating is one that would not lead you to speculate about any bad conclusion in relation to Nick.
But we also, like I said, I've said this a couple times now, but we're coming at it with different information that we have loaded into our brains to interpret.
6? Hold on. So you'd have, they would, 48. Is this really still a debate, man? Do people still not understand PEMDAS? You would do the parentheses first. 6 plus 2, 9. Times 3 is 27. But you wouldn't go to multiplication. You would, no, you would. No, you do exponents first. So the 4 becomes a 48. So then, and then you do your multiplication. Then you do your multiplication, which would be 27. It would be 27 minus 48. And then you would divide the product by 8.
His 5-second snap reaction.
Speculating that Nick it was making a hypocrisy argument given the whole entire history of the Ida drama, the whole entire history of how Nick...
That's the other thing, like the whole entire history. Are we saying that like when he like reflexively said, not only is it offensive, you know what I mean? We're supposed to think that like in that moment he was like, brain blast, let me think about Anissa as a woke scolding leftist, Idub's woke scolding leftist. I just think it's hard to believe that he was thinking about any of that when he like snap decision said it was offensive.
Conducts himself with edgy humor and stuff like that. I mean, he literally has a show called Ultra Pay-Per-View. Chleepy is choosing to interpret it as Nick thinks.
Like, also, if he just snapped and said that and didn't actually, like, it's the bias is evident in the sense of like you know what your take's supposed to be before you look at something, and it just shows like the nitpick. Like if you just impulsively say that, it shows you're looking for any negative comment you could possibly make, which is, you know, indicative of your mindset once going into it.
Thinks it's offensive because he's pandering to his audience of age 3 wine moms.
Yes. Okay, good. I thought he was gonna say.
I almost gave you another bingo. I was gonna make a comparison to somebody. I almost gave you another bingo. And I didn't. House always wins. House always wins, motherfuckers.
Because Nick is like a pussy. No. Like, I think it's because he's pandering. I think it's because he's in this mode where he's criticizing Anissa, but also when he's making this sort of content, I also feel like he's kind of got like an Ethan Klein defense shield on almost. Like if something needs to be negatively said about Ethan, let's try to
Diorio dropped the ultimate rape review shit.
Say it as nicely, as softly, as comfortably as possible. So when he hears like a rude impression, like his first instinct is like, that's not funny. That's not funny. You can't say that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I was like average, if not below average at certain points of math, and then I don't know what happened. I started feeling halfway through high school or whatever, I all of a sudden could do math. And well, actually at the beginning, no, I did really well in pre-algebra, and then I did really good in algebra 1, and then algebra just changed. Algebra I was just really good at for some reason, even though I sucked at math, and then I did really good in trig. I sucked at geometry.
And that like he actually thinks that impressions aren't funny. I just think that in that moment,
and then I never took calc or pre-calc.
His reflex is to say that's not funny because Anissa is saying something negative about Hila.
To be honest, I guess both could be true, but yeah, I just think that it's
both can be true. You got to ask yourself what's more likely.
Just so clearly, obviously, a hypocrisy point because Nick himself does edgy, offensive accents, and calling.
That's the thing though. Like when he reflexively goes, not only is it offensive, you're thinking that he's doing a hypocrisy argument in his head. I don't know.
Being offensive doesn't necessarily mean that you yourself find it to be offensive. I think a lot of
did triangle proofs. Give me a fucking break.
That's not my argument either.
People think that when you call something offensive, you're crying about it. Maybe you are. Usually you are. But like
in my tweet, I'm juxtaposing the guy who does ultimate rape reviews calling something.
Why didn't I take calculus? It wasn't required. The path it might be.
That's fun.
I said I'm transferring.
Funny. That's like a funny juxtaposition. But that's not my point. Isn't that Diorio finds it personally offensive?
I did because under my gen ed requirements, I fulfilled my mathematical requirement for college with my stats class, which was based because stats also applied to my major.
Again, if I watch a video, like if I watched, a video of fucking, again, Sam Hyde calling a bunch of black people the N-word, and I was like, holy shit, that's offensive. Most of you guys would assume that
Cam Nuggets, I missed your earlier tip of $2. That was much appreciated. Sorry I missed that.
Still find it funny, and I'm
$2 from Will. Thank you so much. David arrested. What is murking?
Laughing at it. It's the same thing.
I had the best trig teacher. She was cool as fuck.
Fact.
My algebra class. My algebra class. It was just. I was there. No, it was my algebra. It was my algebra 2 class. It was my algebra 2 class. For whatever reason, I took that as a senior, and for whatever you guys know my deal. I was a bad kid. I failed classes because I never showed up to school. Then I locked in. But I had to, as a result of that, I was in some class to graduate high school. I was in classes with the disgusting lower class freshmen, sophomores, and fucking juniors. But I got put into an algebra 2 class. I was with a bunch of sophomores and juniors, and these kids were terrors, dude. They fucking the poor teacher got like, and I played into it because it was funny as shit. But like my algebra 2 teacher was terrorized on a daily basis.
So that we don't look like pussies. My issue was never, is this
like offensive is good,
or is it not offensive?
I think you're being way too charitable to Diorio due to your relationship with him because he's shown he will compromise on his standards to support Ethan, knowing the copyright suits aren't exclusively to save the space for corpos who want to sue, and still propping Ethan's lawsuits up. So I don't know why it's hard to believe.
Augie, just own this. Literally, just own this, Augie. Just own this. You can't always get rid of bias. The best you do is actively attempting to combat it, but bias exists, and honestly, you're less likely to overcome bias if you're in denial that you have it. But you just need to own up. Like, yeah, you're obviously going to be biased in favor of Nick here.
Leave. He do similar in catering to his H3 filled audience by calling Viennese accent offensive. I mean, the party just also feels like people are reading way too deeply into like just a throwaway comment being on stream because like.
True, people are. I totally agree. I am reading into a throwaway comment on stream very deeply.
I have a mutual friend with David. I've told you guys this. Unironically, I asked him to. He did not want to. He knows I stream. He did not want to come on. I remember I asked him while I was live. But I mean, yeah, it's just that whole situation. I want to know why he killed her. I want to know why he killed her and what his plan was. What was his plan to get, like, it feels like there was the most minimal effort to not get caught.
But what that commenter just said, that's what's painting everything, is that he has shown extreme amounts of bias over the year. And the idea is that that bias is what's causing him to react sharp in that way.
As a streamer, I understand that, like, you say things that you don't really are wording in the best way all the fucking time. Like, as a streamer, you're always going to say things in not exactly the best way or using the best words, the best examples. In a video, you can at least...
There was a rumor that it sounded like their relationship was basically already... It just literally sounded like this was a time bomb. In regards to somebody would have blabbed with the amount of people that knew about this, maybe at some point, but it would have been if David had like a... I hadn't been following his career, so I don't know if he was at his peak when this dropped. But if he got big enough, somebody for their own benefit would have run to the press with this. I mean, you see, we were just talking about it earlier. How the fuck does TMZ know about Clavicular's private intervention? It's because amongst celebrities in their circles, everyone still has like self-interest, and they're totally willing to compromise that relationship in the achievement of that self-interest by running to the press with something. And that's why people are friends with actual celebrities. So many NDAs are signed for shit. But I would have, like, it was surprising how many people seem to have known about this that just never said anything. What I heard from my sources is that people knew about this girl. A lot of people knew about this girl and saw that she was around, but didn't know her age. But seems like there was people that did know about her age. A lot of them. And it's like, why did nobody say anything?
Yourself in exactly the way that you want to be, sounding. But on a stream, you might just say some shit. It's possible that
depends on how that depends on how lazy you are when you edit.
Reflexively, he did say it to pander or virtue signal a little bit. I can totally agree with that. So
my issue is, why did you say it was offensive? What made the ultimate rape review guy say, "Oh, guys, this is too far. This is
Did your mutual know about he did not know that David... I'd have to look back to figure out if he had ever met her or not. All I know is that he didn't know that David was with a kid. That's all I know. That's all what I care about, at least. I don't expect you to be IDing other people's girlfriends. But, she looked like a kid, obviously. And I don't know if he had ever met her personally. I'd have to go back to the text exchange where I talked about this with him once, and then we never spoke about it again.
Yes, thank you. Why did you say it was offensive? What made you react that way? Not that you think it's personally offensive. Old Chleepy doing future Chleepy a favor here by explaining it. Offensive. Why did you say that? You said that because you're protecting the bag. You said that because you're allied with the clients. That's the only fucking reason.
I bet you that the decision to kill her was impulsive. It wasn't like this was... I bet you this is going to be like more of a second-degree murder thing. But I don't... Because it's just nothing about this makes any sense to me. From a perspective of self-preservation, etc. Like, I don't know how he thought he would get away. People who kill people to hide other crimes are so stupid, because it's like, you're not getting away with this, and when you get caught, you've just dug yourself into a hole that is so much deeper. David he was doing like exchanges outside the school. Do not kill people to hide things, because you will not get away with it. And also, you shouldn't kill people. But if you think you're gonna fucking if you think like you're betting against the odds of, in a case like this, potential FBI involved, it's such a high profile. I don't know if the FBI got involved here, but you're dealing with a major police force, the LAPD, potential FBI involved. You have to be operating under the assumption that you're so intelligent you're gonna outdo all of those organizations and the various tools at their disposal that you don't even know the full extent of. And even people who do there will be people who think about these things and think that they'll somehow be the one that's smart enough to get away with it. But there's always a slip up because of how tedious and thorough these sorts of investigations are. You will be caught if you leave like a little bit of dead skin, and you are always shedding skin. You're always shedding skin, dead skin cells, and every time you touch something, you're leaving, touch DNA, skin cells, etc. Put on gloves, that's great, but if you kill someone with a gun, you're not gonna have gunshot residue, and that will stay on you for a while, no matter how much you try to wash it, and you're not even sure if you got all of it off, and then when they consider you a suspect, they can see you have gunshot residue in your arms.
And for the record, I don't think that he said that, like, when I'm giving those reasons, I don't think that he's like,
yeah, there's no statute of limitations on that. Is like a miserable life. The life after you know you've killed it must feel like you've died and you're now living in this dream state of like you're just spending every day like waiting. You're just spending every day waiting, and it's so satisfying to see these, because technology, I've watched it as it's actively progressed, forensic genealogy and DNA advancements, and all these old cases are now getting solved. They're solving murders from like fucking 60 years ago, and I think some have even been longer than that. And sometimes you have these living suspects that are like elderly, but they probably never thought they'd get caught, and then one day. Do you think Dexter Morgan would last in today's world? Obviously not. It is virtually impossible to be a serial killer in 21st century America. A lot of the people who actually become serial killers in the 21st century are people who've only killed like 3, and that's because a lot of the people they're targeting are like low profile or considered low priority victims, like prostitutes, drug addicts, the homeless. But eventually they get caught before they really get like too high of a body count, I guess. You have one right now I've been following in LA. I think there's a serial killer on the loose in LA that they're not really talking about a whole lot. But a bunch of people are showing up dead in homeless encampments, including a former NFL player, and they now believe that all 5 are linked. So there's some maniac on the loose, I guess, that's chopping up homeless people, but
actively thinking about it in the same way that I don't think he's actively thinking about a hypocrisy point. I think that this is a passive, instinctual.
Aiden, you were just wrong. Dexter could pull it off in the modern world. To do it for as long as he was doing, he's a human being. You slip up. And honestly, what I've read about, the more successful you get in getting away with it, you actually become more likely to get caught because they get so fucking cocky. I mean, Dahmer just got to a point where he was just letting like bodies pile up in his bathtub. He just didn't even care. He was not putting as much effort into avoiding getting caught because he'd been successful for so long.
Reflexive thing that he's done in saying that something was offensive. That's all. So
Jack the Ripper slipped. I mean, it's hard to slip up. Jack the Ripper was it doesn't seem was like a calculated, meticulous, organized type, because he sounded like a schizo. Unironic, Jack the Ripper was a schizo. He wrote on, this was an old piece of evidence that could have gotten him caught sooner while he was alive, but an investigator erased it. Basically, at one of the murder sites, written on the alleyway was this letter in graffiti that said, "The Jews, spelled Juwes, are the people who will not be blamed for nothing." And this letter had his hand, or this graffiti was believed to have come from him and had his handwriting. But the investigator, not wanting to incite a riot in London at that time, which was filled with immigrants, erased it. So we never actually got the handwriting sample. we have a general idea of who Jack the Ripper was. Like the thing is, record keeping was weird. High immigrant area at the time in London. People with the same name, because a lot of Jews at that time just had very little name variation. And what we know, we can probably ascertain, is that Jack the Ripper was a Polish Jewish immigrant to London that was insane, that like a schizophrenic or something. That there are like 3 people that really meet that criterion very well, but like amongst those 3, we're not sure if one is, you know, more than the other.
It's obvious. I don't even like Nick that much anymore, but it's obvious people are taking the clip and running with the worst possible interpretation of it because they don't like him. Well, that's the other thing too. That's why I wanted to provide some sort of counterbalance to it, because
they erased it. The evidence was there. Yeah, dude. There are cases where some of the most mysterious killers would have easily been caught, and they, because of a police officer's retarded decision, they weren't. The Zodiac would have been caught by now, but the night he shot Paul Stein, his final murder in San Francisco, they put out over the radio, "Be on the lookout for a black male. Be on the lookout for a black male." So as the cops are driving, they spot this dude in all black, which is where one of the Zodiac sketches come from. And I think they pulled over and talked to him briefly or something. But they weren't suspicious because he wasn't black. And they were supposedly looking for a black male, which was an error. They wasn't supposed to say that. So they drive away from this guy to go look for their black male. Now, the Zodiac, in his letters, later recounts, "You guys came close. I literally talked. That was me. The guy you saw, that was me." Your friend watched a mystery. A video. Yeah, I watched a video.
You notice, like, with a lot of people that are hated, you know, they
Augie play.
It's my side passion, man. It's my side. I like mystery. I like mystery, morbid curiosity, and I've always been big into mysteries and true crime and shit.
Playing devil's advocate?
People do kind of tend to start to take the arguments too far into like a sort of a bad faith direction. And so I wanted to sit there and be like, okay, well, here's the counter to that, you know, because, you know, is this really, like, I get there's a lot of reasons to criticize Nick or whatever for his H3 coverage.
I've been to the Amityville house. I'm from Long Island, where it happened.
But like, that's what I was kind of looking at this as. Is Nick suddenly anti-offensive humor? I don't think so, you know?
Give me a break with all this. Oh, they're woke scolding leftists. They shouldn't be saying this. They're hypocrites.
Wine Mom? I mean, I get, well, yeah, there's a big subset, obviously, of true, but true crime's not just a woman thing. Listening to videos about, I don't listen to videos about murder all day. I used to watch reruns of, or not reruns, they have it on YouTube now, of cold case files and shit. But, hold on. Why does it make sense that you're from Long Island? Probably because I'm stereotypically, Jewish. Hold on. One sec. When are you gonna make your own Scooby-Doo? Any day now, man. I was talking to Mama for a while. What y'all saying about black people? Were we talking about black people? Oh, no, I was talking about the reason the Zodiac didn't get caught after his final murder is because the police had said over the radio, or the dispatch on the radio had said, be on the lookout for a black male. So when they went and talked to the white Zodiac killer, they just moved on because they were looking for a black male, even though the witnesses specified to the police the guy that got out of the cab was white. Long Island is a dump. I was there once in the 80s, and some Puerto Ricans turned my pockets inside out. That's not Long Island. Are you thinking the Bronx? What are you talking about? Long Island is not a dump. It is a dump. It's a total dump. It's like it's a suburban... Dude, I hate the suburbs. I have I have a visceral hatred of the suburbs. And it's just like, dude, we need to destroy all suburbs.
You know what I think? I think it was a funny impression. I think everybody thinks it was a funny impression. And this guy had to figure out a way to make it not seem funny. So he said that it was offensive. You know why? Because he's not allowed to find it funny. I also find it so annoying that these people keep coming back to they're woke scolding leftists. They're not allowed to ever say anything funny or edgy ever again, even though they've been
Yeah, I'm not into haunted shit, because I don't believe in ghosts.
crying and begging for these people to be edgy for years. I'm going to explain this two ways. One way that I believe and one way that's a leftist type of belief. I think we need to start by saying that was not a Jewish impression. That was an Ela Klein impression. And Ela Klein is Israeli. Ela Klein simply sounds funny. She has a very goofy sound.
This part I agree with. This part I agree with.
Based Augie.
About it. Like, because I was like,
This is okay. So they disagree with each other. Who gives a shit? I can't pretend like this is at all was this Queeman's main topic for tonight? You hate I do not hate everything. I do not hate everything. There are many places that I think are beautiful that I'd love to live. Unfortunately, the thing about Long Island is you have a lot of there's like a stereotype that it's all just like fucking the Hamptons or whatever. But the Hamptons, when I was growing up on Long Island, I was closer to the city than I was the Hamptons or whatever. And you just have these like very snobby. I didn't know any old money types. I knew new money type, and for whatever I don't know why it is this way. But I've noticed like some of the snobbier types of rich people are new money types in comparison to old money types, and I feel like I don't know why you would be snobby if you've been there and you know what you came from. Why like now that you're up, you're gonna like start thinking you're better than people. I don't know. This is an observation. People get money and then forget where they came from. Have you seen the movie called Ac7ionman? It's about how corrupt the police were in NY in the 80s. Crazy good movie. No, I've not seen that movie. Although I've heard stories of how corrupt the police were in the 80s. You should move to Newark? Yeah, dude, I want to go to that fucking shithole. Let me go to Jersey. That's what my life needs. That's what my life needs. Hold on. Okay. By the way, if you guys want to support the stream as always, you can help us out by tipping through Streamlabs and Super Chat. We are nearly halfway to Streamly goal, which I've changed to full goal. Apparently another Sykkuno victim had come out.
I went to Evil Las Vegas alone. But I wasn't alone. I shared a hotel room with Sykkuno.
I also love watching things about lost me. Well, do you remember the ulterior motives thing? Where there was this sound bite of this like 1980s sounding song and nobody could figure out where the fuck it came from. Somebody had made a joke on some Reddit post I was looking at when this was still unfound media that this is like from like a porno or something. They finally figured out where it came from, and that's literally where it came from. Somebody heard the song in some porn they were gooning to and realized that wait, that's the song. And they figured it out.
Trying to say like
All right. What's her story? Right now, we all know Sykkuno did it, like, or in regards to, he's a cheater, okay? Is she gonna bring something new to the table?
Went to Evil Las Vegas alone. But I wasn't alone. I shared a hotel room with Sykkuno.
Okay.
But I didn't know that he had other intentions. And I didn't ask him to share a room with me. I just simply asked him, hey, are you going to Evil Las Vegas?
What?
He said yes.
Excuse me?
Yes, intentions.
The only times I ever hear about women that are comfortable sharing a room with men they are not in a relationship with or fucking, the only times I've ever heard of women doing that is when the dude is gay. That's literally, like, as a woman, like, I feel like you would, the idea of just having some random guy that you're not fucking and don't intend to fuck and have no interest in fucking, stay in your hotel room, and he's not gay, and there is, like, zero, I feel like you'd have to realize at some point, like, this dude is rich. He could afford to get his own room. He could afford to get you separate rooms. What do you think is going to happen when the two of you are sharing a fucking room together? What do you think he wanted out of that?
But I didn't know that he had other intentions. And I didn't ask.
I mean, maybe she's stupid. I don't know her. She actually just could be really dumb.
Him to share.
But I find it hard to believe if you were sharing a hotel room as a woman with a guy that was not gay. I find it hard to believe that wouldn't be a thought that would go through your mind. Does this guy want to fuck me?
A room with me. I just simply asked him, "Hey, are you going to Evil Las Vegas?" He said yes. And I said, "Oh, that
is not weird. My wife is to share hotel rooms with her coworkers sometimes for her business conferences. Hey, man, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Sometimes do you get to watch her business conferences in a chair in the corner?
Trying to go this year. I'm looking at hotels and everything's so expensive. Do you pretty much have like any recommendations? Like, I know he lives in Las Vegas." And he said, "Oh, you're planning on coming. I actually have room if you just want to like room with me." And I said, and I at first was not against it. I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, "No, I don't want to."
So is she gonna overemphasize how much she was against this idea, and like it was probably like a brief like, "What, really? You want to room with me? What?" It was probably something like that she's overemphasizing to make it look more like non-mutual in hindsight or something. I just don't believe her. I just don't believe you could share a room as a female with a straight guy and not think that this guy is probably trying to fuck. Unless he is gay or a relative, I've never heard of a woman being willing to do that.
In truth, like, I don't mind getting my own hotel and all this. Like, I was insistent on being like, "Oh no, it's fine." And then he said, "No, like, I have extra room. I already paid for it." And I even asked him, I'm like, "Are you rooming with a group?"
So Aiden, if you ever sleep anywhere with another female, I'm not gonna sleep with a female unless I'm getting laid. I wouldn't agree to, if I had no interest in her, I wouldn't agree to share a hotel room with her.
Or with friends. And he said, "No, but there's 2 beds, so like you'll get your own bed." You know, like yeah.
Would you sleep with a male? Yeah, but that's different.
So I took his offer. Being a dumbass, I took his offer. But I did later. I even offered to pay him back. I said, "How much should I save up for accommodations?" And he said, "Oh, no, you don't have to pay me back. Like, I already have room for the hotel. You don't have to pay me back." So, yeah,
Is this a rape allegation? Because I feel like the tone of her voice and her facial, like, I feel like we're leading up to a sexual assault allegation.
Shared a room with Sekuno.
Aiden only interested in being near women if he's getting pussy. No, sleeping with women. I'm only interested in sleeping with women if I'm getting pussy. If I'm not getting pussy, I'm not gonna sleep with a woman or with the woman.
At Evil Las Vegas. And we had plans to watch a movie together. We had plans to watch a
I've
horror
slept
movie
with female friends where they probably thought you were gay. They literally just probably thought you were gay.
together until dawn that movie's ass.
If your girlfriends as a guy are like letting you sleep with them and shit, they think you're gay.
Actually, I didn't even get to finish it, but that movie's ass. He has a hotel even though he lives in Vegas. Yes. We were watching the movie and he started to get very angsty or something. I don't know how to explain it, but he pretty much tried to make a move on me. And I was fully trying to say, like,
What do you mean by make a move? What do you mean by make a move? What do you mean by make a move? I hate when they get vague right around the important part, the part we're listening to figure out is this sexual assault or something else. That's when they decide they're going to be vague. And that's a purposeful, if somebody's being deceptive, that's just a purposeful strategy they love to do. If they're making an allegation about some other impropriety that isn't SA, they'll be purposely vague so that you walk away from it thinking that it is. Like, we're dealing with a case involving a serial cheater. In the document you're writing on him, in the title, you call him a predator. So people are going to go into it thinking that this is something else. It's like more serious.
I'm just here to watch the movie. Like, I'm just here to watch the movie.
Yeah, we were like in the hotel room we shared, we were laying in our mutual bed together and like my head was like on his lap and like he went to like kiss my ear. And it was like, "Whoa! Wait a second. What are we doing here?" I, sir, had no suspicion that any of this kissy stuff would be going down. This is preposterous. Exit the room at once. You're just like completely flabbergasted. It's like, what do we think is happening here?
But me being a dumbass and not being very...
I'm sorry, 2 beds? 2 beds? Any icy chatters in here? Understand that reference? 2 beds? 2 beds? Double beds?
Like... What's the word? Very strong in, like, mentally, not physically. I mean, like, what's the word? Very strong.
Only someone as autistic and kissless as Aiden is allowed to be how many people do I have to kiss before I'm in the club and I'm allowed to talk about this kind of stuff? But like at what number?
But me being a dumbass and not being
2? Then we're there. Then we are there.
Very like, what's the word? Very strong in, like, mentally, not physically. I mean, like,
Whoa.
like, maybe this is a people pleaser in me, but
I just unplugged my camera with my foot. Hold on. Fuck. There we go. Think we're back?
and maybe, I don't know, benefit of the doubt, or because I still thought he was cute, or I don't know. He tried to make a move on me, resolute, I don't know, but he made a move on me. It did take like 30 minutes. Wow, I don't want to share that. I don't like sharing.
Is this a rape case or not? That's what I'm listening for. Just to be clear, even though I think it's kind of implied that there's going to be some interest in that front by them sharing a hotel room, I don't think he has any permission to, off of that mere assumption, go and try some shit, right? with that being said, like, go and try something that she doesn't want, or just assume that she would want it when she showed no indication otherwise. And if this is a sexual assault allegation, then I understand the seriousness of that. But it just, I want to know, is this another cheating allegation, or was this consensual? That should just be the most basic. Like, if you're telling a story like this, you should just establish off the bat, was what occurred consensual?
This is like so personal. Like, I don't talk about my intimate life at all. But I don't sleep.
You don't have to. You actually, nobody's making you do this. You could say something as simple as, when I was in a hotel room at this convention, Saikuno non-consensually attempted to do something. And if it was consensual, then why the fuck are you making a video? You could just say, yeah, me and him also like played around a little bit. He cheated with me too. Nobody is forcing you to go into detail unless the details indicate like sexual assault or something.
With anyone that I'm not dating. And it didn't happen that night.
What did happen?
I didn't want it to happen. So,
and did he try to go do it anyways?
Instead, I just gave him oral.
Wait, okay. Instead, I just gave him oral. So was it like I don't want to do it tonight. Okay, so she's indicated he wants to do it. She doesn't want to do it. Then they apparently don't do it. So it sounds like he's respecting her consent. Then in regards to the oral, was that what you suggest as an alternative? Like, were you a consenting participant in that? Which it sounds like you were. So what is the story?
Okay. Thank
you for the raid, Himpleton. Much appreciated.
And then when he fell asleep, I got out of bed and I just ate a banana and I was just staring out the window. I was dissociating. I think I was straight up just dissociating. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Himpleton leaving some crumbs for us small guys.
What happened? What just happened? And then in the morning,
I'm waiting. Wait, banana? Hold on, I'm
not dating. And it didn't happen that night. I didn't want it to happen. So instead,
I didn't want it to okay, you didn't want it to happen, so it then didn't happen. Okay, so it literally just sounds like a guy who's respecting your consent.
I just gave him oral.
She removes all details that would indicate whether or not she wanted this. She'll tell you what she didn't want, but she will never leave you with any clarity regarding what she was a consensual participant in. She leaves that up to your imagination, I guess.
Okay. And then when he fell asleep, I got out of bed and I just ate a banana and I was just staring out the window. I was dissociating. I think I was straight up just dissociating. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dissociating from what? Consensual oral sex? Was the oral consensual or not? You were willing to tell him, I don't want to do this in regards to sex. So the two of you didn't have sex. Now in regards to the oral, you say the oral happened, but you don't tell us how it happened, whether you were okay with it or not. So what are you why can't you just explain?
What just happened? And then
you were eating a banana and what?
In the morning? I barely slept that night.
From what? From what?
What happened? In the morning? He didn't really want to talk about it.
Well, because who's talking? Okay, maybe this is the norm to talk about it the next day, but like, I guess. I mean, are you actively, dude? Last night, I mean, you'll just say like, I had a great night with you or something. I wouldn't imagine. Like, what conversation would necessitate you to both discuss the details of the oral sex that you were both participants in and full well know the details of?
Now it's just kind of trying to open it up and.
But she makes it sound like it's due to some guilt or something.
Talk to him about like what happened, and then.
Dude, I gotta get like a poster. Like, wouldn't my aura instantly increase if I just had a giant like a Tupac poster in the background? I don't even listen to him.
we were gonna talk about it, I don't know, later or something. I don't know, but I can't remember. But he ends up hugging me. uh,
I'm waiting for
but then
it.
pushes me onto the bed.
Whoa!
From the hug. And
now we're getting somewhere.
We end up having sex.
Was the sex consensual or was it not? You got pushed onto the bed and then what happened? Did he then leap on the bed and start having sex with you, or did he push you onto the bed and then you mutually had sex with him?
And
the two of you have oral. You weren't in the mood for penetrative sex the night before. The two of you have oral. You don't specify. You're willing to tell us what you didn't want. She doesn't denote that she didn't want the oral. So the go-to default assumption should probably be that was something that was consensual, unless she clarifies otherwise. Then the next day, it goes a step further, but it also, she's not denoting that she didn't want it. So, and she's been willing to do that at other points. And anything she has denoted that she explicitly didn't want, he then didn't do. So she's pushed onto the bed, and then they have sex. So it sounds like I don't know what besides the fact that he's cheating, I don't know what wrong is occurring here.
I didn't have it in me to tell him to stop, so I just let it happen.
Poop swag, you almost gave me a fucking aneurysm, and then I read your name. You almost gave me an actual aneurysm.
And while
she's just telling us a story, like you tell stories. Do you not think that there's like context? There is a guy that is actively having a bunch of people come out with documents and tweet along and their experiences in regards to his cheating and sexual impropriety or whatever. And you don't think she knew that there was any implications when she's telling this story with her makeup ready, looking sad and pouty and helpless for the camera, making sure to purposefully not clarify details that would help us figure out whether or not she's alleging SA or not. You don't think she knows what she's doing here or what the implications are.
This was happening while we were doing it. I always wear protection, and I only sleep with people I'm in a relationship with, so...
Well, clearly you don't, because you weren't in a relationship with him and you just admitted you had sex with him.
I'm not used to one-night stands or anything like that. But we were not using protection, and I'm legally hard of hearing, if you guys don't know already.
What does that change? What the fuck does that change? Huh? I also am diagnosed ADHD. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Yeah, I mean, what do you need to be hearing exactly?
But in the heat of the moment, he asked me if
you're not deaf. She's clearly not. If someone was like fully like deaf, you could hear it. I've never heard somebody that was fully deaf that obviously didn't that you couldn't see some vocal indications, because obviously you can't hear your own voice and therefore regulate it accordingly. But you know, I don't think she's full.
It was safe, and I didn't hear him, but in the heat of the moment, he asked me if it was safe, and I didn't hear him, but I just said, mm-hmm.
That is your what? He asked you a question, you didn't hear him, so then you say, mm-hmm, and now he thinks what you just agreed to something. What have you given him where he would have any reason to second guess that? In that situation, what you would then go and do is say, I didn't hear you. Can you say that again?
And he finished inside of me, and then that was it. And then
okay, so you didn't hear him. Then when he goes to at some point though, when you realize what he's now doing and you don't want it, at some point you would have realized that your hearing wouldn't come into play, because you'd see and feel what he's trying to do, and you would say, hey, what are we doing? I don't want this. or hey, can we stop, or stop, or get off me, and it sounds like there was no reason for her to be fearful of her safety or life for communicating her boundaries, because once again, the one case where she's clearly explained that a boundary was communicated, she didn't want to have sex, he totally obliges. So I don't understand. She's not explaining what would have created like fear or hesitancy around communicating a boundary. Apparently she misheard at one point, but that doesn't really like it's not just like there was things that follow that question that would have made you realize what was occurring. And even if you just said and didn't hear what happened, at some point you then would have known what the earlier question you didn't hear was, and then say no.
We just laid there for a little bit, and then I brought it up. I asked him straight up.
She doesn't claim she didn't want it. So what is the point of this? Because she's acting like she doesn't want to do this or have to divulge sexual details surrounding herself, which is like totally fair. You shouldn't have to. So why are you? If this was a consensual act of sex, what is pressing you to reveal these details to us? What new details being established and proven by you sharing this with us that's making you go against your wants and desires and have to embarrass yourself in the eyes of the public?
When was your last relationship, and do you sleep around often? Like, is this normal for you? Because I told him straight up.
No condom was the... Okay, so is she claiming she got stealthed?
I do not date with people. I do not sleep with people I do not date.
Which is then contradicted by your actions because you slept with someone you didn't date.
I do not sleep with people that I do not date. That is just a moral of mine.
Except you did. That's literally that's exactly what you did, so I don't really know what to tell you.
I find it very intimate with whoever. So, and I don't actually have I've only only ever slept with 3 people. Well, 4 now.
Thank you for sharing this piece of information that Thank you for sharing this piece of information that really you were just forced to share.
I've only been in 3 relationships.
Look at how much she's volunteering for somebody that supposedly doesn't want to be doing this.
So, it was very new to me.
I'm getting flashbacks with the way she's doing this. It is Naomi King. It's Naomi King. It is without necessarily overtly lying by saying, like for example, you can overtly lie by falsely claiming somebody raped you, but in order to not engage in the risk of telling a lie, where if you get caught, you're gonna look like a liar and all the consequences of that, you can use framing to make people think that the fake thing, the thing that didn't happen happened without actually having to tell the lie yourself. So at points where people's ears will really perk up to figure out, was this rape or not, you'll purposely be vague around the details. You'll pan back between what you were thinking versus what you were communicating, as if the person you were having sex with would have been able to actually figure out that you were thinking this at the time. It's all purposeful attempts to make you think that there is SA in a story where there is not. And it is incredibly, incredibly slimy.
I've never had a one-night stand or anything like that. So...
Yeah, he came on my mama boot. I was like, this guy, this maniac, he came on her mother's buttocks? This pervert? Somebody's got to stop this maniac. It's like, no, it's a mama buttock. It's like some Filipino thing.
I asked him, I'm like, is this normal for you? Like, do you sleep around a lot? And he said, no, he was being around the bush the whole time that I was asking these questions, by the way. I'm like, then why did you sleep with me? And he said, oh, it just, giving me really half-ass answers, like, oh, it just, I've known you for a while and I know you're very sweet and, you look nice. And then I asked him this question and I said, when was your last relationship? And he said 3 years ago.
So it's just adding on to the cheating drama, but making her seem even more bad, even though it just sounds like consensual.
So in my head,
In your head.
It's crazy.
When you're at this point, there's no excuse for this. When you're communicating the facts of a sexual situation where some sort of impropriety is being alleged, you cannot do this thing where you randomly cut back all the time to what was in your head, because you're just making it look like these were factors at play that would have been relevant to the perpetration of some sort of wrongdoing, even though the person you're with can't read your mind. It should, when you're communicating the facts, it should be about what you communicated. If you are sharing what was in your head, there are times that are appropriate for that. You should say, I was thinking it in my head at the time, but for whatever reason, you know, I didn't say it. I wish I had. So he only knew at the time that, you know, X, Y, Z. So there's no room for confusion.
That's why I feel so blindsided and backstabbed, because I asked these questions.
What was being, well, that's the point. You never figure out exactly what's being alleged. They will purposefully leave your mind to figure that one out while applying framing that will lead your mind in a certain direction. That direction being some sort of non-consensual sex act. That way, they don't actually have to say a lie, and they still get you thinking what they would have wanted you to think by lying anyways.
And they ended up being complete lies. So when I really felt blindsided and backstabbed by all the information that was coming out, I really was, because I asked those two questions, like if he was in a relationship or like when his last relationship was, and if he sleeps around.
So lying by it's not just omitting things. Lying by omission is part of dishonest framing, but it's not just the details you choose to omit. It's the verbiage you choose to like use and overemphasize as well. Words like pushed, for example. Words like words that will be associated with different connotations will be overemphasized in the course of framing it to lead people to a false conclusion.
And he told me no, and 3 years ago.
So he lied. He was cheating, and he lied to you to cover it up.
And
cool.
After that,
see, it doesn't hit as hard, does it? Sykkuno cheated. It's like, because we all know that already. So what original angle do you have?
I went on about my date, and then I ended up running into someone I'm very close with, and they offered me to stay in their hotel room because I didn't feel comfortable sleeping in mine. So I ended up sleeping at my friend's hotel room for the next 2 nights. And you guys can even see on Twitter, if you guys look at my Evo outfits, the first outfit is in a very different hotel room than the other two, and that's because I ended up moving to another hotel. The first one is in the one that I'm with Sykkuno.
Who is she, by the way?
Know what you felt about that. And I said, no, I want to know what you felt about this, because I already told you how I felt. And yeah,
people need to understand the difference as well between like regretful. She knows she understands the difference, but there is a major difference in regretful sex and obviously rape. And when you're like, you know, although we'd love to hear about your state of mind and the things you regretted, when it's a case involving drama actively surrounding the person you had sex with, it's probably not the best time to communicate your personal regrets about having sex with them, because everyone's just going to think that you're alleging that it was more than regretful sex. What is the second goat call? What's the first goat call, actually? I'm curious. Her ex-roommate spoke out. Not surprised it's happening again. I lived together with Leia, her sister, and a few other creators back in 2024. At some point, her ex, who was a bigger creator, broke up with her. Her ex was financially supporting. The biggest victim, the only person really that should be getting on camera, getting emotional like this, is Sykkuno's girlfriend. These other people were like, got played by a player to engage in consensual sexual activities. Some may have been thinking there might have been more to it, and they could have had something long term through Sykkuno's own deception, which is shitty as fuck. But the big victim here is the person that got cheated on. Yet I see these other people coming out that are trying to claim an even larger victimhood status, and some of the people that were accusing Sykkuno were actively imploring him to leave. I'm not scrolling down. Okay, I see we're not scrolling down. We're imploring him to leave after finding out that he was cheating on his girlfriend with them. We're imploring him to leave her and be with them. She's still with him. That's crazy. Yeah, I think it's a bad idea from her standpoint. I don't think she should stay with him. But from his perspective, that's a girl you marry. If she's willing to stay with you after that, like after you were that shitty, that is somebody that really fucking loves you. That's someone you marry. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship or whatever, but I was so surprised she stayed with them. Not surprised it's happening again. I lived together with Leia, her sister, and a few other creators back in 2024. At some point, her ex, who was a bigger creator, broke up with her. Her ex was financially supporting her. Everything was paid for. She wasn't streaming, wasn't working, just staying in bed most days. After their breakup, do I see myself capable of cheating? Yes, that's why I don't date right now. Because I want options open to me. And I like variety, and I very quickly gain and lose interest in people. And if I was in a long-term commitment with somebody now, I would probably cheat on them. So I don't get into relationships. Her ex was financially supporting her. Everything was paid for. She wasn't streaming, wasn't working, just staying in bed most days. After the breakup, she came to me for help and advice. I spent hours talking to her, losing sleep, trying to support her, telling her to focus on herself, build her own stability, love herself first, and not center her whole life around her ex. I wanted to help someone who I thought was a friend. She didn't take any of that advice. Instead, she actively did the opposite, putting all her energy into trying to get him back by any means necessary. She spent more money on a makeover and would even dress a certain way when we went to the gym together. She was desperate. When that didn't work, instead of taking accountability for her own choices, all the blame got pushed onto me. By the end of our lease, somehow, the person who was trying to help them, both her and her sister, turned into something it wasn't and would even start spreading false rumors about everyone involved in their messy breakup that year. This would bleed into 2025. Now I'm watching, yeah, this person seems like a, she doesn't strike me as, like, I thought she's just dumb. She doesn't strike me as dumb. I think she's manipulative. And I know it's very easy to I never want to be like that guy that's just like immediately like a tectone type that immediately starts jumping on every like woman that dared accuse a man, but it doesn't even sound like she's making an accusation here. I think this is one of those cases where, yeah, the accuser is like some BPD manipulative psycho in her case. Did you enjoy? I'd love to watch it on my stream, but Himpleton refuses to send me the video. Didn't he say he financially supports his GF? Well, that could maybe, that could also maybe be an influencing factor for sure. All right, guys. Well, we've been going for a good while here. I think that's gonna wrap it up. Viewership has been consistently better this entire stream, and obviously the Himpleton raid there at the end kept it up. But much appreciated, guys. Thank you everybody who's been watching recently. You know what I'm gonna ask for? I don't normally ask for this. Give me some feedback, okay? Give me some feedback in my server. If you see an obvious way that I could be doing something better. Sometimes you need the voice of an outsider. So let me know. Let me know. I like criticism I can work with. And I would love to hear from the audience. But that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow with another stream. And yeah, who's live right now? We got all right, cool. Take care, guys. Bye bye. See everyone soon.